So I have put you on mute, and it's only purely because it's not because I don't want to hear your voices, because you do look like such a lovely group. You genuinely do, so much better than the last one. God, you should have seen them. Oh. But yeah, no. And I can't believe you're here, Evelyn. So it's probably about, what, 2 o'clock in the morning there. So you did really well. But, you know, wherever you're watching in the world, I know Cameron's over in Hawaii and stuff, et cetera, but we're all, you know, we're all sort of all over the world. And it's, you know, I appreciate you, you know, just being here. So that's awesome. So there will be question time, like where I'll be opening up, you know, just throughout probably a couple of different sections where, you know, you'll be sitting there with bated breath wondering, you know, what's what, and, you know, anything that you really want to ask me at those stages, I'll just get you to put your hand up, and if you've got a question, I'll unmute you, and then we can talk about whatever things that you're not sure about. I can clarify certain things as well. So that'll be happening. We will be taking a break around about 9:30. Now we are running about 15 minutes late, so I'm going to sort of look at where I can kind of cut back certain things, just to, you know, just to sort of make sure that we all finish on time today, because I know that you've probably got other things going on afterwards. So it will go until 11:30. So it's a 3.5 hour course today, but it is quite interactive as well, you know, and there's I'll be doing lots of sort of demonstrations and, you know, showing you lots of theories and getting you to kind of really integrate with color. So it won't be just me talking at you, and then, because I'm sure that'd be really boring. Now you notice that there is like a section where you can type and you can say hello to everybody. So that's the chat feature on Zoom. So please feel free to use that if you've got any questions, you know, as I go along, and I'll kind of keep my eye open for those. And, you know, if there is anything that's really pressing at the time, then I'll definitely connect up with that as well for you and make sure you understand. There is an ebook as well that I'm going to be sending through to you as well. Now the ebook it consolidates your learning. So it's a 30-page ebook, and it goes through everything that we discussed today. So, you know, you've got that as a backup reference, and you will be getting a certificate of achievement through the Dreemtime Academy just for attending this course, a level 1 certificate of achievement in color therapy. And so you can bring this into your own wellness business, or if you're just doing this for personal development and personal growth, then, you know, that's awesome as well. There will be, you know, the break will only be about 10 minutes long, and it's just so you can get up and stretch your legs, go to the toilet, and or have a cup of tea, whatever you feel like you want to do, because it's important that we move, we keep our bodies moving. And yeah, so the agenda for today really is that we are investigating color in depth today, and I'm going to be teaching you how to activate and harness the power of color therapy for both mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I'm going to be discussing the 7 transformational colors and their psychological and analytical meanings as well. Okay, so that's red all the way through to violet. So you'll be learning all of the in-depth wisdom about those 7 colors today. And there'll also be like higher consciousness learning and past life implications of each color as well. Okay, so, you know, a lot of the time we kind of look at color as just being just a thing, you know, because we'll get very used to it. But actually there are hidden sort of coded messages within a lot of the colors, and we'll be looking at the past life implications of 7 of those colors today. And also, you know, you'll be looking at soul realignment with the chakras, light, and the power of complementary colors. Now, I'm not going to go really into chakras because I know that a lot of you are already, you know, either in the wellness industry or you've got a good knowledge and wisdom of the chakras already. So it's not going to be one of those boring courses about the chakras, you know, but I will touch upon it because color therapy and the chakras are intimately intertwined. So you can't really sort of talk about one without talking about the other, but I'm going to be brief on that section, especially because we're running 15 minutes late. But it's, you know, it'll give you enough knowledge on that. And if you've never come across the chakras before, then where have you been? But also, you know, there will be quite a lot of wisdom about the chakras in more detail in the ebook. So just put your hand up if you know something about the chakras. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Everyone, yeah. Is that everyone? Yeah, great. Brilliant. Okay, so that's great. So we don't need to cover too much of that off. And then we're going to be looking at incredible spiritual principles derived from secret ancient teachings. Now, these are principles that have come through that I've decided to incorporate in this level 1 course from the color mirrors system, which is the ancient secret system that I teach, which is dual colored oil bottles. And they were formulated by a lady called Melissa Jolly, who really associated a spiritual principle with each of the 7 main colors of the rainbow. And you'll see how it ties in so beautifully, and it'll just give you such an amazing understanding of the basic principles of what the seeker wants to actually find. So we're going to be going through that. So items will be, what is color therapy, color selection, what makes color unique. I'm also going to be touching on the chakras and colors, and then opening up for questions and answers for a little while. And then I'll be talking about colors and light, color tendencies, the color wheel, which is absolutely tantamount of importance, because it's kind of where you start really understanding how it all interconnects. And complementary colors as well, which is really magical when you learn about that. And then we'll be taking a break from there. And then after the break, I'm going to be looking at the physical, psychological, and analytical meanings of the 7 colors. We'll go red all the way through to violet. So I'll be getting you to actually feel into those colors, the spiritual principles associated with each color, and then the past life implications of the color as well. All right. So we're going to start the session by, I just really want to, there's a few things I want to do, like as little icebreakers, but also I want to do a meditation. So a red meditation with you. So we can get you all feeling color from a visual perspective. There you go. I'll just admit Joe Watkins back in again. There you go. So yeah, and also I just want to get you all to just introduce yourselves. So I'll start with you, Ray Milton. All right. There you go. Do you want to unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself? Ask to unmute. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hi, Ray. Go on, do you want to introduce yourself? Where are you from?
Hi, everyone. I'm from Perth in Western Australia.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ray. That's brilliant. And Dreena?
Hi, I'm Dreena and from Perth, Western Australia as well. Sorry, the lighting's not great, but I'm wearing aqua and like a little bit of purple.
That's all right, Dreena. Yeah, you've got, I can see you look like a shadow. You're like a shadow person there. She's the mysterious one. Are you there, Joe? Or have you fallen out, Joe? Where are you, Joe? Okay, so, and then I'll just mute you again. Gina?
Hi everyone, I'm from Perth, WA. Nice to meet you all.
There you go. And Joe? Have you got anything that you wanted to say at all as well? Joe, are you still there? There you go. Joe, you're sort of popping up and down all over the place. I don't know if we
Yeah, I'm trying to log in on my laptop. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I think I'm finally, yeah. So I'm just going to hop off my phone because I just couldn't get on this morning. It was just being very difficult.
All right, no worries, Joe. That's fine. Well, at least you're here now, so that's the main thing. And you're in Perth, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah.
You're in Perth, aren't you, Joe? All right then. All right, so we've got that.
I certainly am. I'm in Perth, Western Australia.
Brilliant. Okay, and Gisela?
Hey, well, I'm based in Perth as well. And,
Wow.
I'm an artist and healing person, so I'm really interested.
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry, just mute you. Thanks, Gisela. That's great. All right, so this is fun, isn't it? Okay, so Michelle, the Lavisseur. Hiya.
I'm from Victoria, BC.
You're in Victoria
Victoria.
and British Columbia, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you might have some birds flying around you, mightn't you? Today?
I might, yeah, 3. and then I'll have raccoons scratching at the patio, waiting for a drink of water.
Brilliant. Okay, that'll be fun to see. So
and some food.
if you see birds flapping around Michelle, you'll know what's going on. Okay, and Ree.
Hi, I'm Rhiannon. I'm in New South Wales, San Remo on the Central Coast.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for joining us. Nice to see you. And Dina.
Hi, I'm Dina from Brisbane. I do energy healing and I'm really excited to be here and meet you all.
Yay, nice to see you too. Nice to see you. And Evelyn. Oh, we can't hear you, Evelyn.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm Evelyn. I'm from, I'm currently in Zurich, Switzerland. So a bit early in the morning.
But you're actually from Australia, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cool.
I normally live in Fremantle. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're in Switzerland at the moment. Brilliant,
Yeah.
Thanks. And Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, I'm in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto
I'm from New York, but I'm in Puerto Rico.
Beautiful. Looks nice there today, Anna.
Well, it's evening time. That's a digital background.
Oh, is it? I was going to say, it looks like you've got a beautiful mountain home. And I'm like, oh, I want to go and live there. Maybe we'll move in with Anna. Okay, Samantha.
Hello, and I'm Samantha, and I'm in Melbourne, Victoria.
Hiya. And you're out of lockdown now, which is great news, isn't it?
Yay!
Yay, thank
Finally.
God. That's brilliant news. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Michelle Whitlock. He's a super fan, Michelle Whitlock.
Hi everyone, I'm from Perth, WA.
Lovely to see you this morning. You're looking lovely in green. Emerald green, your favourite colour. And I've asked you all to wear something that kind of, you know, is dear to you, you know, a colour, so you can kind of notice what people are wearing as being a colour that, you know, they're passionate about. But I've got everybody's favourite colours that you sent through, and everybody's got such different ones. And I'll be explaining a bit more about that as we go through. Ari, nice to see you, Ari.
Good morning, everybody. I'm in Western Australia in Perth.
Lovely, lovely to see you again. Only saw you last weekend, Ari, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
At numerology, but it's lovely to see you back again.
Thank you.
All right, and Colette. There you go. Can you do this, Colette? Come on, you know you can handle it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm from Perth. I think I've met a few of you on the numerology courses, so it's great to be here. I'm loving the energy. It feels amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be really lovely today. It's just going to be really relaxed and fun and interactive. And I want you all sort of like just being able to have a little bit of a, you know, social time as well. So it's not, instead of it just being me banging on. And Fiona. Hello, Fiona.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, I'm in the Lower Blue Mountains in New South Wales.
Oh, that sounds nice. The Lower
Yeah.
Blue Mountains.
Yes.
How lovely. So you don't get the views, but it feels like you're still in the mountains.
I get the views of the mountains. I get the heat, but that's about it.
Well, hopefully you've got air conditioning on today.
I do.
Sorry for cutting you off there. And Cameron Gerholt.
Yeah, Cameron Gerholt, aloha, from beautiful Hawaii, artist and composer.
Fantastic.
Wearing teal, my partner's favorite color.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really beautiful. And thanks so much for joining us today, Cameron. That's really awesome that you're here. And yours is red, isn't it? Your favorite color.
Yeah.
And well done for being the only guy apart from me here today as well. So you're obviously Very intuitive, very intuitive. It's great to see. There should be more men like that are into color therapy, because it's those awakened souls that are here, you see. So that's great. And Kelly?
Hi, I'm from Brisbane. Just had a morning swim, which is why I've got wet hair. So.
Lovely. Oh, well, that's beautiful. Well, it looks like you must have had a nice time, though. Was it cold or was it hot?
No, it's gorgeous. It's
Gorgeous,
really
yeah.
a beautiful day. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you feel nice and refreshed and looking lovely in a beautiful deep blue there. And hi, Trisha. Lovely to see you, Trish. How have you been, Trish? You all right?
Yeah, I've been really good. Healing a lot better now. My eyes still closed, but it's getting there. Anyway, I actually go by Lorraine a lot now, Lorraine Love, and I live in Bunbury, south of Perth.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And really, really happy to be here today.
Yeah, it's really lovely to have you here as well. So lovely to see you, Lorraine. And I never know what to call you, because obviously, you know, you get, sometimes you've got a profile that says Trisha and one that says Lorraine, and it's just like, oh, what do you call you? So
Anyone.
I'm going to call you Lorraine now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
And Miranda, hello, Miranda.
Hi, how you going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Awesome. My name's Miranda and I'm from Bustleton, just out south of Perth.
Fantastic. I haven't seen you since the days I used to live in Bustleton myself. Yeah. So that's lovely to see you back here again at Dreamtime.
Thanks, you.
Okay, and then I think that's everybody, isn't it? So I'm just going to doubly check that nobody else is waiting anywhere and getting frustrated that they can't contact me. I don't think there is. There's a few people. Still, I think there's just one woman. Okay, brilliant. So we're all good to go, I think. We're all good to go. So what I'm going to do first and foremost, now I'm just going to pick 3 people out who I'm going to show you some colours, and I want you to pick out 3 different colours. And I want you to kind of put them in the comments section, which ones answer the question for you. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'd like you to put your answers down. I'll pick 3 of you out and give you I just want you to see how accurate and reliable colour is as a tool for being able to give you inner wisdom and guidance. Okay. So this is a really good little test. I think that will help you to sort of see that, but I won't have a chance to do all of yours, but what I'll do is I'll send you the results through afterwards if you don't get to see it. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So here we go. Right. Can you all see that? Yep. Excellent. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is just look at those, and I want you to pick out one of those colors. Okay. So it's like red, pink, coral, orange, yellow, but gold, pale gold. Then you've got olive, green. This one is turquoise, blue, indigo, platinum, blue, violet, violet, magenta, copper, black, white, silver, and clear. All right, so they're the colors that you've got there. So one color, which is your challenge to clear. Okay, so this is your kind of challenge in your life that you need to clear. Okay. Oopsie. There we go. And then what action can you take next? And then the third one is your potential. Okay, so those 3 colors. So, and then just pop your answers in the section below. So it's red, pink, coral, orange, yellow, gold, pale gold, olive, green, turquoise, blue, indigo, platinum, blue, lilac, violet, magenta, copper, black, white, silver, and clear. They're the colors that you've got to choose from there. Okay, so just having a look through those and just letting me know what answers what. So this is really cool because it's actually really, really accurate as well. You'll be mind blown when you see how good this is. So The first one helps you to identify or suggest a possible idea on where the block may be happening for you. And it may be personal or in your business. And it may also be something you are already aware of. And this is a reminder that you cannot ignore this issue. The second color is you suggest something that you can do to change your circumstances. And it may also be confirming that you are already doing that right thing and to persevere with the action that you've already taken. And the third color you select reminds you that you can succeed, that you will overcome difficulties, and hints at what your potential future looks like. Okay, so is everybody done? No, you're not done yet. So just have a look through. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'm going to stop the share in just a second. So 1, which is your challenge to clear. 2 is what you can action now. And 3 is your potential. Okay. And then just pop your color choices into the comment section. I'm going to choose 3 of you just to have a look at that. Okay. Oops. There we go. All right, so okay, I'm going to keep it on this. Right, okay, so let's see what we've got. Okay, so I'm going to go to, let's have a look. Right, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to start with you, Cameron. Okay, so Cameron has chosen violet, coral, and yellow. Okay, so violet being your challenge, it's about integrating, and this applies to anybody else as well, you know, who's chosen violet as their first choice. This is their challenge. So it's integrating spiritual principles of faith, love, and forgiveness into your business practices. Okay, so that's the challenge. Integrating spiritual principles of faith, love, and forgiveness into your business practices. That's anybody who's chosen violet as their first choice. And then the second choice was coral. And the second choice being coral is what you can action now. And it's about getting your hormone levels and thyroid examined. Okay, so eat nutritious foods and attend self-empowerment courses. All right, you're laughing there, Cameron. Does that make sense to you, Cameron?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm here right now.
You are here right now. Exactly. So you're doing self-empowerment courses, which is great. And then your final choice was yellow, which is your potential. Okay, so the potential, and it's like you can help others be more playful, as you know that joy is the missing key for wealth creation. Okay, so that's your potential. It's about bringing joy into people's lives. All right.
Lovely.
Okay, so I'm going to have a look now at somebody else. So let's have a look. What about you, Gisela? Gisella's chosen yellow, and I'll just unmute you, Gisela. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so you chose yellow for your challenge, and this is not allowing yourself time for joyful activities, and it could be causing you mental stress and a lack of focus and clarity. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Does it?
Yeah.
And that's the same for anybody who's chosen yellow as their first choice. Okay, so that would be the same with you, Ree, and Joe as well. That's the same for you, etc., etc. So yeah, if you've chosen yellow as your first choice, you need to bring a bit more joyful activities into your life. Okay, stop being so serious. If anybody, sorry, we are looking at, we're looking at you there, Gisela. So Gisela, your second choice is, Gisela, there you are. Okay, blue. Okay, so blue has been an action for you is you need to attend a communication and public speaking program to master how you manifest whatever you speak. Okay, so that's something as an action step. And then your potential is violet. Okay, so your potential is violet. Okay, and violet is integrate, you bring communities together and you have a common purpose to serve and elevate consciousness. So you bring communities together and have a common purpose to serve and elevate consciousness. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, it does, actually, yeah.
Beautiful, okay. All right, and then I'll do one more. Let's have a look. Who should I choose? I'm going to use you, Evelyn, because you're the one who's kind of really up late. All right, Evelyn. So what did you choose, Evelyn?
I chose coral, green and blue.
Coral, green and blue.
Okay. Dark blue, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so coral is your challenge. Low libido or lack of sexual drive blocks your creativity. Overly sensitive and attracting dramas. This is your challenge. All right, attracting dramas. So just watch out for that one. And what was your second choice?
The second choice was green.
Green. Okay, so green, say yes more often and put on a green light for go, even if you doubt your own abilities or lack resources. Okay, so say yes more often to things. Just say yes and turn up. And then your final one was which one?
Dark blue.
Dark blue. Okay, so dark blue. Okay, so dark blue is you're a master at vision building and creating successful business plans that benefit entrepreneurs. So you're a master at vision building, okay, and successful business plans. So that's something to look at. Okay, so that's your potential.
Thank you.
All right. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah. It's slightly worded different. It all makes sense. It's really, yeah.
Good. Okay. Fantastic.
A bit of drama, bit to bit.
Well, you know, it's like we all love a bit of drama, don't we? Hey,
yeah.
Love a bit of drama. All right. So that's just a little icebreaker, right? So that's just to sort of show you how when we use this, and I'll send you through your results. So remember the colours that you've chosen afterwards. I'll send that through with the PDF ebook that I sent you afterwards, so you'll be able to check out what yours mean for you, and use it as well, you know, to sort of look at other people in your life and give them some options to ask the questions, and then you can give them their answers. But you see, this is all based around the wisdom of color theory and color analysis, which we're going to be exploring as we go through the course. So what I'd like to do now is just a quick meditation with you, just to get you into the nice headspace. So just closing your eyes when you're ready, and I'd like you just to start taking a few deep breaths. Okay, so closing your eyes. And this one is a red meditation. So this is going to connect you up to the color red. So taking a nice deep breath in, holding, and then breathing out any form of tension or anxiety as a dark cloud, and just letting it go. And start feeling the weight of your body on the chair, and listening out to the sounds that you can hear both close up and far away. Any thoughts or feelings that come in, just allow them to be there without judgment, and watch as they drift in and out of your mind, almost like clouds in the sky. Any that linger, just imagine wafting them away with a big paper fan, and returning to your breath, breathing in peace, holding and breathing out any last remaining tension or anxiety as a dark cloud and just letting it go. So just be with your body for a moment. Feel where you are holding tension and let it go. Let the relaxation start at the top of your crown and gently wash down like warm, gentle energy, relaxing your forehead, your eyelids, your cheeks and your jaw. Relax the back of your head, your neck and your throat. Relax your shoulders. Breathe into them and put down the burdens of the week. Put down the world outside. This is your time for your healing. Really relax your shoulders. Relax your arms, your elbows and your hands. Relax the muscles down your spine. Relax your chest. And let your breath come easily and gently. Relax your stomach muscles. Relax into your hips. Relax your thighs, your knees, your calves and your shins. And relax your ankles and your feet. And let the relaxation wash down like warm, gentle energy, washing out every last bit of tension out through the soles of your feet and into the earth where it is transformed. You find yourself in a red room, red walls, red floors, a red ceiling, and even the windows are red glass, and the light in the room is red. And in the center of the room is a red chair. You feel compelled to go over it and going to sit on it. And just begin to feel how it feels to have that red on your skin. And then begin to feel what happens inside your body with the red around you. And breathe in the red into the base at the tip of your spine. And feel this energy center begin to be highly charged with the red. Feel the energy and feel the feelings that come up. Where do you need more physical power, more energy, more health? Let your body get the life force and physical power of red. Then move the red energy into your sacral chakra and let the red mingle with the orange and energize your creativity. Feel the red move through everything that has blocked in your sacral chakra. And feel the red take away the feeling of powerlessness against abuse, the feelings of lethargy that stop you utilizing your creative power. And let the red simply move through the energy center, clearing all the fatigue and lack of drive. And watch as that energy begins to spin, and with an extra richness to the color. And feel the buzz of your sacral chakra as your sexuality awakens and gets energized by the red. Now move the red into your solar plexus and feel the energy in that power center. And breathe in, I am, as the red begins to pour into your solar plexus, getting that energy center moving. Allow your mind to take you to places where you gave your power away, especially your financial power. Where did you keep yourself small by not having enough? Where did you not let your money work for you because you had a judgment on power and money? Allow your higher self into this energy center and let your higher self show you how it feels to be powerful and abundant. Get a sense of what your higher self thinks about money and power. Is there any judgment? Or is it just another aspect of the Creator? Really feel. Are you allowed to have it all? Let your higher self feel how it is for you to feel and to be so deeply connected to the divine. To know in every cell of your body that there is no separation. Is that really poor and small? Or is that huge and abundant and holy and divine? Truth. Let your body get that truth. Who are you in essence? Powerful being of light and love and abundance. And move that red into your heart. And let the red mingle with the green. And feel what happens in when your heart is energized with this red energy. Feel the slow, powerful beat of your heart and feel the energy that suddenly emanates from your heart. Feel the power of love as it pumps out from your heart. And let it move into the room, softening the red. And then let it flow out into the world and into the galaxies, and let it connect you to the place where only love exists, and feel the bliss. You are this, and it is you. Oneness on all levels. And now move the red into your throat and allow the red to mingle with the blue, giving the power of speech all the energy it needs. You can ask to have your needs met. You can say how you feel, and you can claim the healing for yourself and others. You can manifest whatever you speak. Breathe it in. I am the voice of the divine. And move the red into your third eye. And feel the red energizing that center between your eyebrows. And let the red move into the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, and feel those energy points get energized and switched on. When they are working fully, you can manifest whatever you visualize. Keep your thoughts clear so that you do not inadvertently create the chaos you normally see. And then move the red into your crown and feel what happens when the red gets into the violet and turns it magenta. Feel the divine love pouring into your crown and all the way down through each chakra, the crown, the third eye, the throat, down into the heart chakra, the solar plexus, and into the sacral and back to your red base. Feeling this taking place now. And then gently, in your own time, just bringing yourself back to the room and begin to feel the chair underneath you, the clothes on your skin. And in an out breath that's comfortable to you, open your eyes. Okay, so that's just a really beautiful way of kind of re-energizing the whole of your energetic bodies and your chakras with red. Red is a very powerful, vital color. It's full of passion and power, and it will literally wake you up. So it's a really great color to use to get you feeling and to get you back in your physical body as well, so you can be present in the moment. So Ray, what did you think of your red meditation? Did you connect with the color red? Ooh, there you go. Just I'm just going to unmute you, Ray. There you go. Oh, we still can't hear you, Ray. Are you there, lovely?
How's that?
Yeah. So how did you find red?
I enjoy red. I actually use it a lot, but in a slightly different way. I use a rainbow.
Yeah, lovely.
And yeah, I go sliding in the rainbow. But
ooh,
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
brilliant. Do you feel awake now?
I do.
Good, excellent. And red's really good for physical pain and things like that as well. So, you know, it can really help with like breathing out any tension and physical pain within the body too. So it's a lovely one to connect up with. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is we're going to move away from that. And I want to move into colour therapy and what actually it is, okay? Now that we're all wide awake. So colour was actually recognised as a powerful form of therapy in most ancient civilizations, actually, including, you know, ancient Greece, India, China, and at the healing temples of light and colour at Heliopolis in Egypt. Now, obviously, the Egyptians were really big into colour therapy, and a lot of the wisdom that I'm speaking about today dates back, you know, to ancient Egypt and actually Atlantis as well, which was before ancient Egypt. So it's like, ooh, it's really, really ancient wisdom, this. And so, you know, it has been used for such a long, long time. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to the healing temples of light and colour at Heliopolis in Egypt, but it's such a great place if you are passionate about colour. Now, obviously, because you're all here with me today, you know, you've been drawn here. It's like a soul calling. And you are all colour people, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So, you know, these are places that, you know, you may have been connected to, or these are cultures that you may have been connected to in previous incarnations. And it's now time for your soul memories to kind of reignite and for you to bring this ancient wisdom back in so that you can harness the power of it in your everyday life or within your wellness business. So, you know, colour continues to be used therapeutically in many different ways. And it's unique in that it can actually be combined with virtually any other form of healing or therapy. So if you're a Reiki practitioner, or you're a kinesiologist, or you work with crystals, or, you know, you work in more mainstream medicine, you know, it can be incorporated beautifully into any type of modalities. And these are some ways in which it can be used. So we can use colour as in tinctures, which are like water that are charged and energized with specific colours and sunlight. Okay, so a good example of that would be things like the colour mirrors. Okay, because the colour mirrors are, you know, they're energized water. Well, within the bottom fraction of them, they are water. So, for example, I've got like the green angel here, which is purified water that's been coloured with vegetable colours, vegetable dyes, and the same with the oils as well. So they're a really good example of, you know, how tinctures can be used in colour therapy, and they've always been infused with sunlight. So that's the light it almost potentiates the remedy and it infuses it. They can also be used through the healing power of crystals. So, for example, you know, I've got like a carnelian here, and there's an amethyst, orange calcite. You know, if you were interested in color, it's likely that you've played with crystals before, and you know, crystals are a really beautiful way of being able to just feel that, because they're almost like frozen color. That's how I see crystals. They're like frozen color, and you can get them in every single color of the rainbow. You know, like I've got a citrine here, and there's a blue goldstone as well, which has got loads of sparkles in it. There's so many different types of crystals that you can work with that embody the frequencies and resonances of the colors as you learn how to use them and you understand what they actually mean. You can do it by connecting with the beauty of nature as well. So through extracting essences from herbs and flowers and plants as well. So I work with the Australian bush flowers as another modality that brings in color. So here you can see, you know, all of the different colors that you can get within native flowers. And, you know, if you're not in Australia, then a lot of the time I know that there are Hawaiian flower essences. If you're in Hawaii, there's ones if you're in Europe, like they're the Bach flower essences, and they all kind of work on the same principles that, you know, the flowers talk to you through what's called the doctrine of signatures. So it's a little bit like how a cat would communicate to you in pantomime. The flowers kind of do the same thing by the amount of petals that they've got, the colors that they have, the smell, the texture of them, and they kind of like indicate what they're beneficial for therapeutically for you. So that's another really great way to be able to incorporate the vibration of color into your life. You can do it through the clothes that you wear, the foods that you eat, through the psychology and the language of color. And that will really help you to understand yourself and your higher consciousness a lot better. And you can also use it through colored oils on the body or the chakras. So, for example, things like this are really good for kids as well, because you can literally just put remedies onto different parts of the body wherever you intuitively feel like you need. And, you can get them in sort of roller balls. You can use it on your third eye. You can put it on your throat. You can kind of really just use the oils intuitively. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can kind of incorporate the power of color into your life. And you just have to do it, because, if you think about Einstein, right, he said that the future of medicine is vibrational. And, he was right, really, because I think as a collective, humanity are moving more away from mainstream medicine, pharmaceuticals, because they're seeing that they have side effects. Whereas actually, we don't need anything that's so invasive. We can just work with subtle frequencies and keynotes, and they are able to create the same shifts that we look for, by kind of like handing our power away to drugs and medicine that does have its place, don't get me wrong, but I think that we can do things in a much more subtle way as we kind of evolve, and it's already kind of taking shape. So we know that you're here because maybe in the past you've worked with color, maybe not necessarily in this lifetime, but you may have worked with color in previous lifetimes. So I'm going to let you into a little bit of a secret now. So when I first kind of had my awakening experience, I was 42 years old, and I was working in IT recruitment in Perth, and I'd worked in it for about 15 years in England as well. And I was getting really angry, and I was just feeling really like I was living somebody else's life. And one day I woke up and I was just like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to make a difference in my life moving forward? And all I got was, I've got to work with color. So I literally sold my house, moved down to a different area, rented a house for 4 years, and reinvented myself, and actually started off by being a painter. And that didn't really resonate because nobody was interested in my paintings. They were quite out there, I must admit. They were a bit like surreal landscapes and stuff. And I kind of was like, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing then? So, and then I went back to what I was passionate about when I was in my teens, which was helping people back into healing. Really started ramping up my wisdom on energy medicine, and then obviously eventually found the color mirrors. And over a period of a few years, I became a color mirrors teacher. So it's kind of like it just happened organically. But during that process, as I started working with color and understanding what aspects of color I was supposed to be working with, I started getting soul memories back from when I was working in Atlantis, and I could just see myself working under this like big glass dome, and I had all of these colored bottles, and I was kind of applying them to different people on their bodies, or like different parts of their bodies, and they were really, really sort of super effective at clearing emotional blockages and physical ailments. They were a bit like the color mirrors, but on steroids, because back in the times of Atlantis, our healing methods were a lot more advanced, as was technology, and, agriculture and architecture and everything was a lot more advanced. But of course, with Atlantis, in times of Atlantis, it all kind of fell from 5D to 3D because we started abusing our wisdom and power and knowledge. So it was almost like through working with color, it heightened my awareness and it expanded my consciousness. So I started receiving like these past life or soul memories. So that can, you know, that can take place as well. Like when you start working with color, and it happens, didn't just happen to me. It happens to a lot of people who work within color therapy. Because it works on subtle frequencies. So, you know, you might find that, you know, once you reactivate this passion within you again, and if you go on to work with color, then the same thing may happen. So each color has its own meanings, its own vibration, and you'll be attracted to some colors and not others. For example, you know, we can see that Rhiannon, you know, you love green, and Ray, you love aqua and turquoise, and Samantha, you love magenta, and Anna, you love mustard, and Drina likes green and purple. Dina likes yellow. You know, Joe, you like green. So we all have like colors that kind of become like signature colors for us that may stay with us for the whole of our lives. But then we also get repelled by certain colors as well. So, you know, it's like there might be a color that you absolutely hate. So we've got to look at why. Why is this taking place? Why are we repelled by some and attracted to some? So, you know, they help you see more clearly what's going on in your life and in your world. And those you are attracted to will offer you information, understanding, and insights into your emotions, your health and well-being, also your issues or blocks, your potential, and also who you truly are at a soul level. So, you know, it can actually even indicate what you're here to do as a soul purpose as well. So, for example, I've always been a massive fan of the color orange. Now, orange for me, I never even knew why. You know, I'd just be like, oh yeah, I properly like orange. And it would be like all my clothes would be orange. I'd always get orange t-shirts. I'd always get orange jumpers, not orange trousers, but orange shoes, you know, like literally orange wardrobe. So if you were to come into my house and you go into our walk-in wardrobe, you would see that like on my side, a lot of my clothes are on the red spectrum, orange and red, and Mark's are all blue. And, you know, it's really interesting because there's such a division between the colors that we are naturally attracted to. So, you know, your personal color choices will reflect back to you your subconscious patterns of behavior, which could be creating issues such as like a lack of money, which is a big one, or, you know, challenges with love, health, and happiness as well. Okay. Makeup. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we have to look as well, you know, at, you know, where at the same time your color choices might shine back to you the potential that you hold. So the experiment that we did earlier on, you know, not only revealed challenges and action steps, but also the potential that you hold as well. So that's how we can use color to be able to see all facets of it. Because remember, color, each color has both positive and negative implications and aspects about it. So we'll look at that when we go through the 7 colors. We're going to look at the positive and negative aspects, and you'll be able to see what aspects that you are in with each of those colors. So your higher self, your soul, guides you into the choices because it knows which issues you are ready and willing to work on, even if you don't. Okay, so you're like an onion with lots of different layers. I'm just getting a bit of feedback. Okay, so you're like an onion with lots. There we go. Yeah, so we're like an onion with many layers of many issues that we have to work through during the course of our lives, depending on what comes up for us. And the colors that you're drawn to and the use of those colors will guide you into removing or releasing those layers. Okay, so that's how it works, you know, so the colors help you to release layers of emotion, patterns, behaviors, beliefs, emotional blockages. So what makes color unique? So color is an energy and color is a vibration. It's an energy tool and it helps you to balance and stabilize your body and your energy field as well. So when used as therapy, colour can go to the roots of the problems or challenges that you're facing and help you release yourself from the bondage of past patterns. It helps you to analyse and identify the patterns that have been keeping you stuck and helps them bring them back into your conscious mind for transformation and helps you to find new ways forward. Because remember, when we look at colour and we work with colour, it's kind of like your subconscious mind, which is understanding the language of light, even if your conscious mind doesn't. So it will very clearly show you how you can realign both aspects of your mind so they tell the same story. And of course, when you are able to do that, you become a very powerful creator of your own reality. So, you know, colour can be used with any other form of therapy, such as reflexology, Reiki, counselling, coaching, numerology, astrology, EFT, and any other form of energy healing as well. And many people have discovered that it works brilliantly with animals as well. So it might be really good for you, Michelle, with your birds. You know, and anyone else who's got an animal that they, you know, that they've got that's maybe timid or, you know, aggressive, you know, working with colour can really help to rebalance animals as well. And it also can be used in with more mainstream organizations. So it's not just companies that are, you know, that are in wellness or spiritual endeavors. It's mainstream, you know, such as bringing colour into the classroom or the boardroom or personal development through any corporate organization. So it's not limited to just alternative practices. So chakras and colours. So we kind of need to just run over this quickly. So I want to share a screen with you of an image of the chakras that I dug out earlier on. I think that is quite a nice one. And as I go through the chakras very, very quickly, just to refresh your minds about what that looks like. So I'm going to share my screen with you again. There you go. So there you go. So that's these are the chakras in their simplistic form. And these are the 7 main chakras. Okay, so you've got the red root, the orange sacral, the yellow solar plexus, the green heart, the blue throat, and the indigo third eye, and the violet crown. So these are the traditional chakra colors. Now, bearing in mind the chakras are spinning wheels of energy, so they're not discs, they're not flat. These are like, they're almost like vortices of energy that splay out in front of you and behind you. So they're kind of like, they're vast actually. And when we're fitting well, and if a chakra is open and healthy, it's really brightly colored and really big. And if it's really depleted and, you know, it's unhealthy or it's closed, it would be very dull in color and quite small. And, you know, depending on what emotions or experiences that you're having in your life will depend on the functioning of your chakras. And that's why Reiki or color therapy is a great way to rebalance depleted chakras, because life happens. You know, we go through shocks and trauma, we go through, you know, grief, we go through guilt, we go through a whole host, an array of emotions, and these affect the functioning of the chakras, which, you know, also affect our vital organs, because each chakra is connected to the vital organs. I think somebody has, hang on, I'm just going to stop the share for a second. I'm going to have to mute all again. I think that might be your phone, Joe, or something. So anyway, so I showed you the chakra pictures there. So really with each of those, we've got emotions that are attached to each of those chakras. So red is our survival, our safety, and our security. And it's also connected with our physical body and our energy levels, our activity, energy, and mobility. The red is also connected, each one of the chakras is connected to the endocrine system. So you've got the red, which is connected to the gonads or the ovaries that sit within red. And, you know, when our base chakra is closed, we don't feel safe on the planet. Okay, we feel insecure, we don't feel safe, we don't feel grounded, we might feel like we've got no energy, you know, we can feel, you know, ill, you know, we just feel really flat. then we move to the orange sacral. Now, the orange sacral is connected to your sexual organs. So, but it's also connected to your lymphatics and and also your, like some say, the adrenals as well. So there are sometimes several glands that are connected to the sacral chakra. Now, this is your sexuality, and if we go back to the orange color, that I was mentioning earlier about the one that I'm connected to and have always been connected to. Well, I didn't realize it, but at the time, but it really helped me to be able to accept my own sexuality, because and also enhance my creativity. So I think that when we look at the colors that we're attracted to, they carry like a story about our lives that will kind of help us accept and understand and expand upon what we've actually come here to do. When we look at the sacral chakra as well, when it's closed, we might not feel creative. We might feel impotent, or we could get frigid or not be interested in sex. We can also go into shutdown as well, because orange is connected to shock and trauma and abuse as well. So, the sacral chakra, when it's open and it's full, we really step into being fertile and creative and expansive, and we value our self-worth as well. So when we look at the solar plexus is yellow, and this is, again, connected to the lymphatics, the lady, the adrenals as well is connected to the solar plexus. And yellow is almost like the sun of your being. So it's your I am presence. It's your confidence. When it's open, you're confident, you feel alive, you're connected to your I amness, but it's also ego and fear related as well. So a lot of the time it can be low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and fear, a lot of fear. That's why when we get scared, we get a lot of whirly tummy syndrome. We can feel sick, nauseous, and things like that as well. So then we move up to the heart. The heart is the thymus gland, and it's green, and the green is about love. Green energy holds a lot of envy and jealousy though as well. So when it's closed, it can become conditional love as opposed to unconditional love. Pink is their evolution around the heart center. So actually, as we evolve as a human race, the heart center is turning from green to pink and violet, actually. And it's because the love is becoming more conditional. We're moving away from envy and jealousy and stuff like that, which we've recognized doesn't actually serve us. And when the heart is open, we're very loving and compassionate and giving, and we feel like we want to share and be generous. And of course, when we feel like that, it's incredible, because we really change the type of experiences that we attract into our lives. Sorry, Colette says, what is the red in women? It's the ovaries. Yeah, it kind of will sit there within red and orange, Colette. And then we look at the throat. Now, the throat is connected there to your throat is your thyroid gland. Now, the thyroid is a big thing in a lot of people, because when it's closed, we get sluggish and lethargic and tired, and it also stops us from being able to communicate how we actually feel. So blue is about communicating our truth, and actually turquoise, which is the upper heart center, which connects the throat and the heart, is you speaking your heart, your heartfelt truths. So blue helps you to kind of express yourself, but when it's closed, it shuts all of that down, and we become very sluggish. The third eye is indigo in color, and when it's open, we feel intuitive, we're very sensitive, we can be psychic, clairvoyant. When it's closed, we can get headaches and have nightmares, and we can be disassociated, we can feel disillusioned. We might have mental imbalances as well that can come in with that as well. And then the crown, is our connection to oneness. It's violet in color. It's the color of spirit. It's the pineal gland. The third eye is your pituitary. The crown is the pineal. It's your connection to source, or it's your higher self, really. And it helps you connect to spirit. So if you think about the colors as wavelengths and frequencies, the red energy is a slow wavelength and a slow frequency. So it's dense and it's heavier. So it's more connected to earth. And then violet would be more connected to the heavens because it's a lighter vibration and frequency. So it's kind of a lot more lucid. And so we can connect up to anything beyond the third density existence that we experience here on earth. Well, that we're soon going to be transcending. So we can see really that the chakras are an important aspect of color therapy. And you can see how the colors within the chakras really interconnect not only with, those, but also the etheric bodies as well. Now, I'll just show you a picture of these etheric bodies. Now, this is what goes on around our bodies. So your physical aspect is actually your smallest aspect, your physical body. You can see there. And then what you've got is all these beautiful colors that splay out all the way around your body. So you've got red that sits closest to the skin, and then orange, yellow. So it goes out like the rainbow. So you can see the higher vibrations and frequencies of violet, and they go further out. So they connect you with more than just the physical realm. So when we have like issues within our auric system, you can see there, you can see this person was obviously had a bit of a shock because they've got a bit of orange energy splaying out from them. And you can also get gray patches in your aura as well. So sometimes, like if you can see auras, and this isn't something that's just woo-woo. This is something that has been proven by, Kirlian photography, that the human body has an aura, so it can be photographed. So you can see there, that you can get gray patches that stick. It's almost like Velcro that stick in your aura. So if you've had a shock or you've been through trauma in some way, then you might find that it looks a bit dull or it looks a bit sort of chaotic like that. Whereas a healthy body would have its auric system looking more like this. So that's just in a very sort of concise manner. I don't want to go too much into that at this stage, but I do want you to understand that the relationship between color and light, because color and light are so connected, and color is intimately connected to every aspect of our life and actually touches us in various ways. It's part of our everyday language, and it's often used to describe how we are feeling, such as I'm green with envy, or I'm feeling blue today, or he's red with anger. So you've got lots of different expressions that we kind of just turn to that are actually very accurate and actually explain how your feelings are. So we see color through as it comes through the sun. The sun is is our main source of light. And actually sunlight is one of the best things that you can do if you're feeling a bit flat, is just get yourself out in the sun, because it contains all of the different rays of light, because the rainbow is our visible form of light. And of course there are other colors as well, like infrared or ultraviolet, that we can't see, that some animals can see, but we only can see quite a limited amount of colors as human beings. We can only see that color range red through to violet. But don't be deceived. There's a lot more going on that actually meets the eyes. So the light comes from the sun, and we see that as white light, and then it actually bounces off different objects all over the earth, and that is what creates the sensation of color. So that means that everything that we see is actually reflected light. Everything. That's all it is. It's just reflected light. And because the molecular structure and the pigmentation of objects vary, the light rays become mixed and absorbed and reflect in various speeds and densities. And objects that appear dark to us have absorbed more light rays, and those that don't reflect much light, they are obviously, they're darker. Okay, so we got to look at like the dark items that they absorb, and the light items they kind of reflect outwards. So if you think about the way light enters into us as humans. It goes through our eyes, through the lenses, which are a bit like lenses of your glasses, and then it goes and it hits the retina on the back of the eye, which contains rods and cells. Okay, so you just got to know that the retina on the back of the eye has rods and cells, and like cone cells. So that's how we perceive the three primary colors. So actually everything derives from these three primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. So those are the three colors. So the cones in our eyes only respond to those three primary colors. And when we look at the color blue, the cone which responds to blue sends the signal to the brain that it is seeing blue. And because we only have cones which respond to the three different colors, we're unable to see colors such as ultraviolet, etc. So I'm going to show you an image of the primary colors, the three primary colors, and what happens to them when they intermingle together. So there you go. You can see there we've got those three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So you can see, like, when red and yellow merge together, they create orange. Blue and yellow, they create green. Red and blue, they create violet. And then, you know, in the center there, you know, it kind of all combines together and creates like a dark, murky sort of color. But you see, there is some, I mean, we in color therapy, we look at the three primary colors as being red, yellow, and blue. But actually, now people are starting to feel like the truer colors actually derive from the colors of the printer, so which are magenta, cyan, and yellow. And actually truer forms of each of the secondary and tertiary colors can be derived from that. But in color therapy, we use the three primary colors as being what we were actually taught at school, as them being red, yellow, and blue. But there is some very interesting material out there about you know, really that being a bit of a misconception, and actually those true primary colors are the ones that I've just said. So what we can see is blue is acquisitive. Okay, so these are the three colors that we've got. Blue. Now, a blue person will actually draw things towards it. Okay, it will want to bring things towards it, and it might have been that it didn't have enough food, this person, as it was growing up, so it wants things, it wants to be able to have things. So you know, they're the qualities of the color blue. It wants to acquire and hold on. The blue is you know, is also like, if you look at a blue person, they would be walking with their feet turning inwards, so they kind of like draw things towards them, so their bodies will actually appear like that as well. Whereas red is averse, so red pushes away because it wants to survive. So a red person might have had an abusive father or mother, and of course, you know, for survival, it wants to push away. So red pushes away. And yellow, which is the third primary color, oscillates. So it oscillates between, you know, sort of pushing away and drawing towards. And these people, a yellow person might have been somebody who had like an alcoholic parent, for example, who loved them one minute and then smacked them the next. And they don't really know whether they're Arthur or Martha. So they, you know, and this is where the confusion comes into yellow. And also they can be overly intellectual and overly theorize things as well. So those are the three kind of main traits of those three primary colors. And from everything else, all the other colors will contain aspects of those three main qualities and traits. So it's really interesting when you start understanding the basics, that all colors derive from those three main colors, and that those three colors carry and embody either pushing away, drawing towards, or sitting in the middle and oscillating. So the full spectrum of colors can be broken down into three categories: primary colors, which are the red, yellow, and blue, and they're the foundation of all the other colors that are derived. Then you've got the secondary colors. Now, secondary colors are formed when you combine two primary colors together, such as red and yellow, which creates orange, or blue and yellow, which creates green, or red and blue, which creates violet. So they become your secondary colors. So you know, your secondary colours are literally violet, orange and green. Simple, eh? And then your tertiary colours are formed when you combine, and I'll share my screen with you again. Okay, so you can see there, tertiary colours are formed by the combination of a primary colour and a secondary colour, and they're combined using 2/3 of a primary colour closest to it. So, for example, if you look at magenta, okay, magenta, I'll just get my little drawing icon. Okay, so magenta is here. There you go. So magenta is formed by having 2/3 red, which is the primary color, which is that one there, the primary color which is closest to it, and then 1/3 blue, which is the primary color which is furthest away from it. Okay, so that's there. So you can have 1/3 blue, 2/3 red, and that creates magenta. Nice and simple. So, you know, we'll look at another one. So if it's coral, for example, this one here, there's coral. So coral would be 2/3 red, because red is the primary color that's closest to it, and 1/3 yellow. And that's how we make coral. So that's just a really easy, you know, sort of interpretation of how you make those colors. And they are the colors within color therapy. So that's what we've got. Okay, and the depth of color depends on the amount of light that's added as well. So we get different shades, different tones and different hues. And actually, the more light that we infuse into a color, the more powerful it becomes, the more amplified it is, the more intense it is. We can never assume that the you know, like if we see like a deep, vibrant red, you know, that is going to be more powerful than a pink, because it looks deeper and richer. It's actually the reverse. So the more light that goes that infuses itself within a color, the more powerful that it becomes. So pink is a much more powerful, and it's more amplified than red. So any red related issues can get very good resolve with pink, as an example. So yeah, so then we look at like complementary colors. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a test with you with the complementary colors, because complementaries are interesting, because you might think that when you look at a color that you're actually seeing that color, but what actually is taking place is you're seeing the opposite. So complementary colors are opposite to the color that you're seeing. And when you take that color away, you can actually see the opposite color. So what happens is, like, if you're staring at red, for example, you're really just intensely staring at the color red, and then all of a sudden you take it away, the cell cones on the back of the eyes, they close down. The red one, so remember there's 3 cones, the red, the yellow and the blue. The red closes down, and then the blue and the yellow merge together, the other 2 primaries that are left, and create green. So the opposite color of red is green. All right, and so that's actually, when you're looking at red, you're actually looking at green. Okay, so when we're color therapists, we have to look at the understory that comes up within the complementary. So a red related issue might be, the antidote to a red related issue might be found within its complementary, which is green. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to do a little experiment now, and I want you to see for yourself how this works. All right. I'm going to share my screen again with you. Okay, can everybody see that? Brilliant. So I want you, please, to stare at the red spot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Ah, there we go. So yeah, just stare at the red spot. And just stare at it. We're going to stare at it for about 30 seconds. So just staring at it, staring at it, staring at it. Don't take your eyes. Try not to blink. Try not to look up. Try not to look down. Just staring at that red spot, staring at it. Okay, so what's actually happening now is the cones on the back of your eye, the red cone is getting tired. And it's going, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm so bored of looking at red. And then it's actually, when we take it away, the blue and the yellow cones are going to mix together, and they're going to create Keep staring. There you go. Can you see it? A green spot. Can you see the green spot there? Yeah, did everybody see that? Great, okay. So that's how it works. So you're actually, you know, the complementary color, the opposite color is there to be able to help and assist. I'm going to show you what the complementary colors are now, so you can see for yourself. There you go. So there's the complementary colors. So what we can see with this image is you've got red, and then you go directly opposite. So red, which is there, and then you go opposite it and it's green. Okay, so the complementary color to red is green. Violet, which is here, the complementary color to it is yellow. Indigo, which is down there, the complementary color is gold. You know, and you can see how that kind of works. So orange is blue, etc., etc. Nice and simple. So I'm going to be sending you this information through, so you don't have to memorize any of this, but it's just useful to know, because what happens is we then have an extra layer of information we can draw upon. So say, for example, your favorite color is green. Then we also have to look at red related issues, okay, as to how that can actually help you move and evolve. You saw aqua, did you? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's because the color red isn't a true, it's not a true red. It's slightly out that red, but the actual complementary color is green. And I can show you, actually, we can do yellow as well if you like. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, so there's yellow. Okay, so just staring at the yellow. And again, this is not, it's not I don't think this is a true yellow, but it's as yellow as I could get. So staring at the yellow. So what's happening now is the yellow cone's closing down and the red and the blue are merging together. So try not to blink and just keep your stare fixed. Try not to move your eyes too much. Oopsie. So we're back again. Did I stop the share? Sorry. There we go. Okay. And away. Okay. Did everybody see violet? It was like a pale violet. What colors did everyone get? If you write down in the comments section. Periwinkle. What color's periwinkle? You saw lavender, yeah, light blue, light violet. Exactly. So yeah, so you get a variation of that. Remember that, you know, if the cones on the back of our eyes are damaged in some way, like in the case of people that are colorblind, then what can happen is the color that you perceive will be slightly different. So everyone kind of perceives color in a slightly different way. So we can see there, you know, that you've got people that, oh, you didn't see anything that time, Gina. Miranda saw violet. Joe, you saw brownish, which is interesting. Okay, so it's good to, you know, so it's sort of, I'll do the blue one next, and you can have a look at blue and see what you get with blue. Okay, and then we'll take a little break. Okay, so there's blue. Can everyone see that? Okay, so staring at blue, staring at blue. Try not to take your eyes off it. So your eyes are getting your eyes are getting tired. The blue cone is closing down and the red and the yellow are merging together. And hopefully what you're seeing is orange. Okay, so you might not see it like as a vivid orange, but it will be, did you see that? Yeah, did everyone get like an orangey sort of color? Yeah, ish. Yeah, but you could see, so you got pale yellow. Okay, so you're getting sort of variants of that. Okay, pale gold, yellow, goldish. Yeah, a light orange, very pale orange. Yeah, so that's it. So it's like, it won't be like full, like in your face orange, but because obviously you're not seeing the exact, the density of it, but you can see very much that it's bringing in the opposite color. Okay, so that's why we look at the understory within the different colors. Okay. So I think what we'll do, because we've gone slightly over, we'll take our 10-minute break now, because I could see that a few of you wanting to go to have toilets and have a cup of tea and everything. So if you take 10 minutes out, go and just stretch your legs and stuff like that, and we'll come back and move into the second part. All right, excellent. Any other questions? How does color black fit into one's energy? Okay, so we cover black in level 2 color therapy. So in level 2, we cover 7 more colors. So we actually look at the complementary colors and some other colors as well that are connected to the ones that we're discussing today. But also we start looking more at color combinations as well. So we get another story. So something else happens, for example, when you put 2 colors together, and I'll give you an example. So for example, when you put red and yellow together, another layer of information comes into that, so we can then read more aspects of it. So we look at complementary colors, different complementary colors, as we go through the different levels of this course. Now, this isn't, to become a practitioner in color mirrors, but this is to help you understand color therapy as a general modality that you can kind of bring into any sort of business, etc., or just for personal development. But black, if you look at the color black, if you see a lot of black in someone's energy field, because I know like people like Trisha, she can perceive colors in people's auras. When we did your Reiki master's course, you were able to sort of see the color splaying out from round, and actually some people can do that. I've never been able to see color in auric systems, but if you see black in someone's aura, it would often mean that they have just taken on board other people's negativity, and that can be quite detrimental over a long period of time to their energy levels, to their health and well-being. And actually it can mean that they end up attracting in more dark energy. So we have to be quite vigilant, in sort of cleansing our etheric bodies as much as we can, by treating ourselves. Okay. So when choosing color, do you choose what you're drawn to based on questions or ones you don't like? Okay, so that's a really good question as well. So when we look at colors and we choose colors intuitively, that's how we do it. So we would ask ourselves, which color is going to help me in my life right now to move to where I want to be? Which color represents where I'm at in my life right now? Which color represents where I want to be? Which color represents the action steps that I need to take to be able to help me get from where I am now to where I want to be? And which color or colors represent my biggest challenges or blockages? So then we intuitively pick the color. So it might not necessarily be your favorite color all the time. And then that will bring up to your conscious awareness what's been holding you back as a pattern within your subconscious. Okay, so that's kind of how it works, in a very loose way. Gisela says, cool, I just realized that with my painting class, one client is using blues and then the orange would fit in with what's going on for her. Absolutely. You'll notice that all the time. So say, for example, you know, like when I'm working with the colour mirror system and I get a person comes in and they pick all of the orange bottles, you know that they have, you know, they've got communication issues coming up. They are in a lot of shock and trauma. They may have been through abuse, and actually the antidote in that case would either to be using the orange bottles to be able to treat as a like treats like, so it's a bit like homeopathy, or to use the complementary as the remedy. So there's several different ways that we can use the colours as remedies in people's lives. So, you know, if you're not working as a practitioner of colour mirrors, you can use like the crystals. For example, if you're working as a Reiki practitioner and you've got an orange crystal positioned on someone's sacral, and you know that they've got shock and trauma, you could switch it out maybe for a blue calcite, a blue lace agate, or an angelite, or a blue crystal, you know, and use it in that way. So it's just having the awareness of what the colors mean, then you can kind of you know, sort of bring in the complementaries, or just amplify certain areas with the associated color. Michelle says, I'm wearing a grey sweater because I'm cold, lol, and it's the only one I had, and a black one. Yeah, well, there you go. So, you know, grey is quite a neutral color. Like when you teach color therapy, we're taught to wear white because white doesn't it reflects everything, so it doesn't sort of give any feelings out towards the students. It just is a neutral zone, so it's almost like a zero state. White and grey is quite a similar type of color. Black absorbs, remember, so if you're wearing black, often it's because you want to be hidden, you don't want to be seen, or sometimes it's protection as well that comes up with black. So, you know, I observe, you know, like everything that I see. So when a client comes to see me, I always just look at what are they wearing, what are they signaling to me, and, you know, how is this part of their story. And most of the time you find that they, you know, they're subconsciously sort of giving me a few clues. And you feel invisible when you wear white. Yeah, that can happen as well, definitely. You don't become part of the picture. Sorry, there's just a lady that's just messaged now saying, is it too late to join the class? So I might say she can come in. Oh, right, no, it's okay. She doesn't need to come in. Okay. Right, we're going to move on now into some other stuff that's going on. I want to go through the colors now. So I'm going to share some visuals with you, and I want you to connect up to the colors, and I want you to write down how that color makes you feel. Okay. I'm going to bring in some colored essences as well, because the good thing about color, it transcends time, space, reality. And I can literally spray this around you. I want you to notice what fragrances that you're getting, and just trust your intuition. When I'm spraying this essence, I want you to really trust what smells and fragrances come up, and let me know what you're experiencing as I go through these different colors. And then we're going to, at the same time, look at the positive and negative aspects of both of those colors, so you can start really fully understanding what the colors mean. All right, so we're going to go to share screen. There we go. Actually, I'm going to go with this one instead first. Okay, right, can you all see this? Okay, so this is, I'm actually just going to just make it a little bit smaller. There we go. There you go. So there's your red. Okay, so I just want you to stare at the red, okay, and just really tune into the color red. And then in the comment section, just write down how it makes you feel. How does this color actually make you feel right now? And don't worry if it's, you know, if it's not as we were discussing before. Now, at the same time, I've got this remedy here, which is the Red Angel. And I'm just going to spray this around you guys. Okay, so I want you to breathe in the frequency. Just close your eyes and just breathe in the frequency of this, because each of the essences has its own keynote and frequency. And just observe, what is it? What are you smelling? Can you pick up on anything? And then look at the colors. How is this red making you feel? Are there any memories coming up for you? You know, does it bring any thoughts up? Any inner guidance that comes through with red? Just really tuning into this. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel bad? You know, are there any words that come up for you? What does red mean to you? What does it actually mean to you? Just observing the thoughts and feelings that come up. Are there any of the bottles within this lineup that seem to be jumping out at you in some way? Is the one that you feel repelled by? Just seeing what comes up for you. Okay, I'm going to stop the share now. Right, okay, so we've got, okay, so anxious, roses, garden flowers, passion, serene, and citrusy, says Anna. Anxious, says Gina, makes you feel anxious. Colette says, makes me anxious, like I have to go action, but also stress. Samantha Jane says, I smelled strawberry current, makes me feel like crying in this moment. So have a cry. If you feel like you want to have a cry, have a cry. Strawberry, sweet smells, and I feel strength. Wood, jasmine, it's grounding, says Joanne. Supported, strength, rose, and geranium. Light and citrusy, which I did not expect. Red brings sadness, anger. I smell sweet. Red Lorraine says, red means feeling relaxed, smells like strawberries. The bottle I'm drawn to is the back with the clear on top. Okay, that one's from Gina. Rose is summer movement. The red orange bottle is attracting, and the red purple is unattractive. Okay, so warm and safe. Cocoon, support, passionate, sweet candy smell. The scent of rosella plant, I think that's what it's called in Trinidad. It is sorrel, reminds me of my parents' home, says Dina. I have fresh homemade strawberry jam next to me now. Wow. Well, there you go then. You should be eating that as you're watching. That's great. So actually some of the smells that you were getting through from this were actually very connected to the essence. There is the fragrance of rose that comes through with this. There's clove in there as well. And it's quite sweet, but it's also like initially it's quite a sharp fragrance, and then it goes into sweetness. So this color has lots of different effects on different people, but we can see that a lot of people get a little bit scared by red, as if red is, you know, it's like a warning. If you think about red in nature, it's like danger, danger, you know, don't come near or stop. So nature kind of carries the meaning of the color within the doctrine of signatures within nature as well. So a lot of the time people, you know, other people can feel safe and supported and secure and grounded with red as well. So we all have different responses based around whether we need or don't need red energy. Remember, red has lots of different emotions attached to it. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by that now, as I'm going to share a different screen with you. Okay, so here we can see There we go. So red, physical aspects of red are the adrenals. It's fight or flight that comes in with red. Blood disorders, MS, so someone who's not comfortable in their body or can't cope, you give them red to help them. Okay, so anyone who doesn't feel safe or secure. And any under-energized condition, including impotence and frigidity. Remember the red from the base chakra as well, how it governs the sexual organs. So red can help to rebalance that, and it can help to, you know, step you into more passion. The psychology of red, the key words are material world, birth, body, separation, survival, mother, being safe on earth, aversion, passion, gift of of being physical. So if we look at like separation as an issue, for example, within red, we know that, you know, this is often connected to the birthing experience. So our first time we experience separation is when we're born. We become separate from our mothers. But birthing is actually a very pink experience, but pink is just the amplification of red because it's red infused with white light. So a lot of separation comes in with that. And actually within that, we've got to perceive judgments as well. So judgments, our judgments on ourselves or our judgments on other people are what keep us feeling separate. So we have to kind of look at that as well. So if we look at like the positive and negative aspects, I'd like you just to look down the list and look at what is your most positive aspect in red. So, and write that in the comments section for me. So leading, go-getting, dynamism, drive, ambition, assertiveness, action, confidence, a willingness to give and to do for others, ease with the material world, physical energy, vibrancy, wealth, passion for life, sexual passion, appetite for life, or the ability to set boundaries. Which one or two are your most positive red aspects? And then I want you to look at the negative aspects of red. Okay, so anger. Anger is a huge negative within red, but anger is, again, it's just part of the human condition. So we should never judge the judgment of anger. You know, so if we get angry, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't judge the fact that you've judged that you're angry. Loudness, aggression, resentment, intolerance, irritability, greed, ruthlessness, fatigue, a lack of life force, materialism, lack of money. You know, think about the Chinese and how they use red as within feng shui to be able to attract in more wealth and finance. Well, actually, pink is a better vibrational color to be able to attract more money because it's the amplified red. And love and money are on the same vibration. So pink is love and money. So when we actually use the color pink, you know, it helps us to step into more unconditional self-love. And when we love ourselves unconditionally, it naturally has a knock-on effect to the amount of money that we attract back into to us. So all of that comes up in red. Materialism, lack of money, martyrdom, sacrifice, pain, struggle, victimhood, and separation. So a lot of the time, if people are, you know, picking red bottles or pink, that would be victimhood. You know, the shadow pattern of red is the victim, playing the role of the victim. You know, look at what life has done to me. You know, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? It's that sort of stuff. Okay, so we know that these are some of the issues that come up. So I'm just going to stop the share and I'm going to look at what you've written. Okay, so Gina says assertiveness and action and resentment and fatigue, okay, for her positive and negatives. Lorraine says positive passion for life and negative sacrifice, okay. Then we've got Colette, intolerance and impatience. Ree is negative irritability and then lack of money and fatigue, okay. Samantha, assertiveness and sexual passion and then fatigue. Cameron says vibrancy and sexual passion and greed and lack of money, okay, that comes up with, and it's so interesting when we can start admitting these things to ourselves, because what actually happens there is that we can look at, okay, so our positive aspects, how can we use these more in our lives? How can we expand on them? you know, what action steps can you take to use that red gift more often in your life? And how can you commit to taking that action? So this is what we need to look at. The negative aspects, you know, is this something you need to work on? Is this something you need to heal within yourself? Okay, so what will it heal? So how can red support you with anger, for example? Well, remember what I said, that things like the color mirrors are used as remedies to be able to treat as a like treats like. So if you've got anger, then, you know, you can either use a red essence and spray it around you, or put it on your trigger points and breathe that in. Or you can use the antidote, the opposite, the complementary color, green. So you could use like a green angel or the wood essence, because that helps to dissipate the anger. So once you've recognized what aspects in each color you need to work on, you can then bring in the colors to be able to help and assist. And actually what they do is because color is basically a soul-based language, and it helps your body feel safe. Color helps your body feel safe so that your soul can take you where it wants you to go. And that's all it's really doing. It's just helping your whole body to integrate and feel safe and supported as you go through. Okay, so Michelle says irritability and fatigue. Yep. Miranda, negative pain and anger. Ari says vibrancy, confidence, and anger and aggression. Okay, so we can see we all have different aspects, don't we? We all have very different sort of connections to the color red, and positive and negative. So look at what is that needs to be healed. A lot of the time, if you're a red person, it might be that you've got mother issues going on. All right, there might be a separation from mother, or a separation from someone that comes up. Where do you feel like you can't survive on the planet? Where don't you feel safe anymore? It's this sort of stuff that will come up with red energy, and fight or flight. So then we look at the first spiritual principle in red, which is judge nothing. So this is the first spiritual principle that we're going to be discussing today. And it's to do with the judgments that you hold and experience in your life. So, you know, everything is a mirror, and you attract what you judge. So the more that you judge something, the more you're going to attract more of it. That's why, like, for example, you know, if you come into this life and you're racist, for example, say, for example, you're very racist against a particular culture, chances are you'll come back, but you'll be the race that you were judging, because somewhere along the line, it's all going to have to balance itself out. So we have to kind of look at this as well. Remember, nothing exists outside of you. Nothing exists that is not for your highest good. So everything and everyone is your teacher. So anger is the emotion that gets locked into your cells by judgment. And this is the one that you keep having to do over and over again if you do not let it go. You invite the same type of situations, events, and people back into your life again and again until you get it. So judgments, you know, are often based around what you learn from your tribe. So judging is what you do with other people not like you. Judgment is based on fear, and on a primal level, you are wired to fear everything outside your tribe, your house, your family, your safe space. So it's a common human trait is to tend to judge everything that appears to be other, and judgment keeps you in separation. So we're never going to be able to evolve into like more of a Syrian kind of race, which is more androgynous and unified, unity consciousness, if we're in judgment, because judgment keeps us in separation. And red being the connection to the earth and our survival, most people are actually stuck in their red energy. Okay, most people, because we're all, you know, in some ways trying to survive on this planet. You know, it's you know, even though this is heaven on earth, our judgment keeps us separate from experiencing that. So that's your red. You know, that's how your red kind of works. So remember, your first spiritual principle is judge nothing. Once we get past judgment, we can transcend separation, and the separation is what sits in red. Does that make sense, everybody? Has anyone got any questions with regards to that? No? It's pretty straightforward, hey? So, you know, if you are a red, who would say that they're a red person? Who thinks they are? Yeah? Joe? Yeah? Michelle? Okay, so some red, yeah, and Cameron as well. So there's red work to done. And actually what happens is once you do your red work, you often find that a lot of the other stuff falls away. So if you get good with your red, you know, and it might mean that you have to do a bit of the shadow work first. You know, you might have to feel the anger and you might have to go through the judgments, but watch what you're judging for the next week. When you go out the house, watch who you're judging. If you're judging yourself, are you judging other people? And then look at the mirror side of it. What is it reflecting back to you? Because remember, everyone is your teacher on some level. So everything that annoys you, that person is actually just trying to teach you something that you need to learn that maybe you've not got yet. And remember, it'll keep on repeating itself until the penny drops and you've learned the lesson. So we're going to look at orange now. So I'm going to share the screen again. And I want you to tell me what comes up for you in orange. All right, so here's orange. So breathing in the color orange, connecting with the color orange. Any thoughts, feelings, words that come up for you? Do you like it? Do you feel repelled by it? Do you want to give it a big hug? Or do you want to close your eyes and not see it? Are there any of the bottles there that are really singing to you? Any of the color combinations that really feel like they're communicating a message to you? What is this color orange? What is it all about? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you sadness? Do you feel it's supporting you? Are there any soul memories coming in? How does it make you feel? Okay, just observing what comes up for you. It's a very unique and personal experience, this, and no two people's journeys will be the same. Some people need orange energy. Other people don't need it at all. Okay. So we have got, Joanne says, love the colour, especially with a touch of yellow. I feel balanced. Okay, brilliant. Gisela says, feels happy and warm. Cameron says, tangerine, citrus, sunsets, new beginnings and endings. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good analogy with regards to the sunset. You know, the sunset, it's like at the end of the day, the sun sets. But sure enough, the sun always rises the next day until we get to Armageddon. I doubt that's ever going to happen. Michelle says creativity and warmth. Kelly says creativity and warmth. Kelly says fresh, light and happy. Lovely. So there's a lot of positives coming up with this one. Okay, so Ree says, I got a headache as soon as orange was mentioned. Interesting, Ree. Okay, so that's definitely something to note and observe. Okay, so Gisela says, could you work with the person just looking at the colours? Yes, absolutely. Because remember, we absorb the colours through our eyes. Okay, so we absorb the colours through the eyes. So, you know, I know you're an artist, Gisela. So your paintings will be helping people to heal just by them looking at your colours, looking at them. That's how colour works. You know, so colour will work in lots of different ways. So it will be absorbed through the skin. So if you colour bathe, you can imagine that the remedy will go through the skin, which is the body's largest organ, and then it will go into the emotion or the pattern or the belief or the behaviour that is keeping you stuck, and it will go into the lie that's caught within the cell of the which is an original misinterpretation of the event when it happened, and it will replace the lie with the truth. So the color helps to clear and transmute the lie in the cell and replace it with the truth, which is love ultimately. So, but also, you know, if you're just looking at color, it's being absorbed, it's being acknowledged, and it's already starting to change some of the subconscious patterns. Drina says community and joy, but also I feel sadness transmuting. I love the one in the middle in the front row and behind its shoulder on the left. I've been feeling orange more and more lately, especially in combination with green, yellow, and purple. Interesting. Okay. So when we look at combinations of colours, what we notice is that there is a different story that happens. So if you are attracted to orange with like olive green, for example, that can be codependency in relationships. It's almost like toxicity. It could be that you had, you had to look after someone who was totally incapable of looking after themselves, like an alcoholic parent. If it's orange with blue, then it's a Native American Indian guide, or orange with silver, or orange with white. Could be like an out-of-body experience, such as a soul transfer or something like that, where you've been so shocked that you leave your body. And the same applies to orange with violet or lilac. That can be, I'm so shocked, I go to spirit. Okay, I'm so shocked that I leave my body, I go to the spirit world. So that's, so you look at the combinations that come up and it can tell you something about your soul experience. And the orange, I'll just spray a bit of orange around you. So this is bliss, this one. So as a positive aspect of orange, bliss is an enlightenment. So just breathing in that beautiful scent of bliss. So this one is bliss. And you can see in this one, it's got like these little sparkles that run through it. And just noticing, how does that make you feel? How does this orange energy make you feel when you breathe into this orange? How does it make you feel? And the tangerines and oranges and dahlias are very much present within that, Dina. You're absolutely correct. Invigorating, it gives you tingles. You can see how frequencies transcend time, space, reality. They're not limited to the space around you. And there is some cinnamon in there as well. Interesting. Okay, so that's good that you've observed that. So, but it will also help you with shock and trauma. And I'm going to share the screen again and show you the positive and negative aspects of orange. Okay, so where are we? Here. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So have a look through here for me. So I'm just moving it up now. Okay, so orange. Physical aspects are the reproductive organs, the spleen, and it also helps with shock. So if you've been through a big shock in your life, orange is a really great remedy to be using, and it'll help bring you back into center, because all healing is about balance, let's face it. Okay. It's good for fertility, the reproductive organs. So if someone's struggling to get pregnant, use orange energy because it'll activate the sacral chakra. It'll start working on the Leydig, the lymphatics, the adrenals. The psychology of orange is codependency, especially if it's with green. Okay, if it's with olive green or green, codependency. Creativity. Orange is a brilliant color for activating your passion for being creative. It's a brilliant color for manifesting as well. Manifesting material on the material plane. So if you think about how orange is made, combines red and yellow, red, which is physical, and yellow, which is power. So it gives you that power of manifestation on the physical. Sexuality. Orange often brings up, what is it? What's going on for you sexually? Are you feeling comfortable with your sexuality? Do you feel abused or violated? But also bliss and enlightenment. So if you look through the positive and negative aspects of the color orange and work out which one or two are your most positive aspects in orange and which are your negative aspects, what will orange help you to heal? So, are you creative? Are you a manifester? Do you have the potential for bliss and enlightenment? Buddhic qualities. Think of the Buddhic religion. They all dress in orange because they're attaining this sense of enlightenment. Devotion, optimism, extroversion, independence, empowered sexuality, gregariousness, life and soul of the party, a people person, and courage. It's like the strength of a lion comes up in orange. And then the negative aspects: shock, trauma, abuse, violation, rape, defiance, antagonism, lack of cooperation, codependency, the need for constant validation, childlikeness, and lack of self-worth. Okay, so it's a bit like yellow because remember there's half of the aspect of orange is yellow and half is red. So remember, red is averse, so it pushes away, and yellow is confused. So I don't feel safe, I'm confused, I'm pushing away, I'm scared. So that's the sort of feeling that comes up with orange. So it can support all of those feelings. And of course, the complementary colour to orange is blue. So blue is the antidote as well to orange related issues. So blue will help you verbally communicate and express how you're feeling about where you felt out of control. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got. So Colette says creativity, courage, independence, lack of self-worth, lack of cooperation and defiance. Okay, and Kelly's creative and the ability to manifest. Fantastic, as positive. There you go, bliss. I was experiencing enlightenment yesterday and in an ecstatic bliss state. I haven't felt that high in years and was loving the color orange, and Archangel Gabriel was with me. Smell clove, cinnamon, sandalwood, and sweet tangerine smells. Yeah, you got it. That's exactly it. And then Lorraine says that, yes, invigorating, citrus, fresh, uplifting, says Michelle. And Kelly felt the spray in your solar plexus. And it's so interesting when you start observing where you're feeling the emotions within your physical body. And this is another key to color therapy, is we have to observe where we feel these feelings within our physical body, see where we're storing them, and allow the color to go into that part of the physical body, whether it's stored as pain or whether it's stored as, just a discomfort in some way. Positive is creativity, optimism, courage. Negative aspect is quite a bit been through a lot of trauma in the past to do with orange. Started working on it in the past couple of months, beginning to tear up a little. I'm sorry to hear that, Ray. Just allow whatever comes up for you. Just allow whatever it is that comes up for you to come out, because this is what color does. Color is so subtle, and it will start shifting and moving things and bringing things to your awareness. It's here to support you. Ray says independence, a people person. Dina says courage, potential for bliss and enlightenment, optimism. On the flip side, dependency and lack of self-worth. There you go. Fantastic. Okay, so you can see again, lots of different things that come up within orange. Now, the spiritual principle in orange is forgive everyone. Now, we've got to remember as well, like in color therapy, in the color mirror system, this is the bottle. I don't know if you can see that clearly. This is orange over rose pink. And this is the evolved sacral chakra. So as our sacral chakra is developing, as we're evolving as a human race, what's happening is our chakras are changing color. So rose pink is love, divine love, and it's bringing love into shock and trauma. So as we're forgiving the people that, are there as our teachers that we may have deemed our baddies, we actually can, it's never about condoning behavior. So you never have to condone the behavior that our abusers have subjected us to. But we have to also understand that at soul level, we've kind of agreed to that as a form of teaching. So those people were our teachers that loved us enough for us to be able to evolve at a soul level. So that's why we have to bring pink love and forgiveness into shock and trauma and abuse. So the second principle is rooted in your sacral chakra. Is where you connect with others. It's the seat of your sociability, your relationships and your emotions. And this principle says that in order to live in integrity as a spiritual being, you must forgive everyone, including those that have hurt you. And most especially your parents, right? Unless you can forgive your parents, you can't forgive yourself. Until you can forgive yourself, you can't forgive your creator. So you have to go through that process. Forgive your parents, forgive yourself, forgive your creator. Each and every single one of them needs to be forgiven. Forgiveness is probably one of the keys to all sorts of healing. So the second chakra holds shock, trauma, and abuse. And why would you have acquired those unless you came in with the need to learn forgiveness? So you set up the experience so that you could first learn to forgive yourself and then others. And as you look deeper, you can see that every bit of it was an opportunity to learn forgiveness for yourself and the other person, to heal and to let go of judgment and anger, and to step into compassion. Okay, so that's the second spiritual principle. How do you feel about that? Is there anyone wants to say anything about that? Does anyone want to say something about that principle? Does it trigger anybody in any way? Because I know that when I've been teaching this principle before, if it's not fully understood, it can get, it can trigger responses. So I think that the most important to remember is that it's never about condoning behavior. Forgiveness, it's just about forgiving that person at a soul level so that you can set yourself free. Ray says that it triggers some memories for you. Gisela says forgiveness is important for overall healing. Yeah. And fully understand your end. Excellent. Okay, so that's good. So we can move on to the next color then, I think. Forgiveness stops revenge, Cameron. It certainly does. Why carry that around? Because really when we are in revenge, the only person that we're hurting is ourselves. Because whatever we're putting out as a bad will come back to us threefold. And then the same applies if whatever we're putting out is loving, it'll always come back to us, at least threefold, sometimes 10, 20-fold. So Colette says, 2 questions, please. Color mirror, no orange. Sorry, I don't know what you mean, Colette. Release, exactly. Forgiveness allows you to focus on the now. The number of the bottle. Okay, so it's C10. So this one is C10. C10, orange over rose pink. Now that's really good one. I bathed in that when I went to South Africa, and it was incredible. For actually reconnected me to feeling sexy again, because I'd gone through ages where I was just feeling like an old, middle-aged frump. and I was like, and then I sort of came out of that bath and I was like, oh, actually you're all right, and it was it just made me feel a bit more connected to you don't need to know that anyway. So yellow, we'll look at yellow next. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you again. Okay, so just observe what comes up for you in yellow. Write your notes down on the side, connect up with it, just relax into this, look at the image. What's the first thing that comes up for you? Always look at your first response is always the most reliable, instead of us overthinking things. Like in yellow, it's the mind, it's the left brain, it's the analytical side. It's like analysis paralysis. Sometimes when we live within our minds, we don't follow our hearts, and then we forget, what truly is valuable for us. So try not to overanalyze it. Just see how it makes you feel. Go into feeling rather than thinking. Are there any of the bottles that you feel connected to? Any of the color combinations you don't like? There's any that you do. How any memories coming in? What's going on for you in yellow? Okay, just writing those down. Remember, yellow is the confusion aspect. Yellow is confused. It's fearful. Sometimes confusion comes up in yellow. It's a stimulant as well. Yellow is a stimulant, stimulates the mind. So yellow remedies are very, very good for being able to activate brain power and memory. So if you're going for an exam and you want to remember everything that you need to be able to answer in your exam, using yellow is a really great way to be able to make sure you do. And you could do that with like isopogon, which is one of the Australian bush flowers. It's yellow. It looks like a brain. I'm holding it up there. So that's very good. I use that before I run my courses so I can remember everything I want to say. Or you could use like bottle number 1, which is the sun, yellow over yellow, which is very good for sad and depression. It helps you to overcome fear, helps you to step into your I am presence. But remember, yellow is connected to ego as well. Yellow is your ego. It's like, the ego is something that we can work with, but we also have to transcend the ego so we can move into authentic power. And the way we step into authentic power is by just adding a little bit of pink love into yellow, which creates gold. And gold is your true authentic value and wisdom. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. Okay, so yellow. I love the middle bottle in the first row, and the far right in the back row, says Dina. Okay, so that's the sun energy. That's very good for sad and depression a lot of the time, because yellow brings joy in, and joy is the highest vibrational emotion that we've got. So the more we can exist in joy, the more inclined we are to be able to align our frequency to 5th or 5th dimensional consciousness, to heighten our awareness into that. So, but also remember, it helps with fear. And also, you know, if you are in fear, if you are a yellow person, sometimes we might need to look at aligning with the complementary, which is violet, and violet is your connection to spirit. Okay, so it helps you to understand that there's nothing to fear, because we are ancient, immortal beings of light, living out a temporary human experience. So Lorraine says, bright with the middle bottle reminds me of summer, warm breeze, refreshing, yellow, purple, love the feeling of joy and active. Great. And the yellow and violet bottle that you saw there is, you know, it's an interesting one, because that really helps people to overcome grief and step more into joy, because it carries both vibrations. Ray says, connect with the one center front and the back left. Cheerful and strong, confident. And Michelle Levasseur likes the left, purple and yellow. Gina, yellow is a pleasant color for me, but I'm not keen on the bottle mixed with purple. Interesting. So there's a few of you that really like it and a few of you that don't. That's interesting to observe as well. Joy, happiness, and also anxiety randomly comes in with yellow. Well, yellow is the solar plexus, remember, and that's where we store a lot of the anxiety, you know, in the heart and in the solar plexus. So of course, you know, yellow, it can be stirring something within there, the fear maybe that's sitting within the solar plexus. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to spray some yellow around you now. So this is Starlight Joy that I've got now. This is Starlight Joy. So how do you feel about Starlight Joy? So this is a yellow essence. I'll spray some around you and tell me, how does that smell for you? How does that make you feel? Okay, and these are the positive and negative aspects. So the physical aspects are ulcers, ADHD. Remember, if we're overly stimulated in our left brain, we have attention deficit disorder. So, you know, our minds can be too active. SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Yellow is brilliant for that. Issues with the gallbladder, liver, and the kidneys. The liver and kidneys hold fear. So, you know, they're the vital organs that get affected when we're in fear. The nervous system and the spine, and diabetics as well. And the psychology of yellow is joy, the inner child, brightness, fun, you know, that carries that cheery sense of wanting to have a laugh and be sociable and have fun. High IQ, intellectual, fear, confusion, power issues, and betrayal actually comes up within yellow as well, especially if you've got it paired with turquoise. So when we see blue and yellow, or turquoise and yellow, or even green and yellow, it can relate to feeling like you can't trust someone, like you're going to be betrayed in some way. I can't trust you. It's like yellow is I fear, turquoise is trust. I fear trust. So we can see that, you know, it can bring up all of that, this confusion that runs through yellow. So look at the positive and negative aspects of yellow. What positive aspects do you feel like you can include in your life more often? And how can you expand on them? What action steps can you take to be able to include this yellow gift in your life more often? And can you commit to taking that action? So yellow is lightness, laughter, joy, harvest, bright sun, enjoyment, sunshine, optimism, brightness, and brilliance. The ability to be analytical, logical, unemotional, rational, academic, intellectual, and a joy bringer. But as a negative, it's fear, confusion, stress, allergies, eating disorders, ADHD, lack of sweetness in life, too much focus on the mind, an inability to have fun, rebellious tendencies, being overly critical, nervousness, tendency to be sharp-tongued, feeling unhinged, and bewilderment. So that's what it will heal. How many of those aspects do you have in negative in yellow? And you see, the more that you've got in each of the colours will indicate to you as to which remedies, which colours are going to be the most beneficial for you. So, you know, you end up being your own kind of doctor. You diagnose your own colours instead of passing that power away to somebody else. Okay, so then we look at the spiritual principle in yellow, and this is to claim your authentic power. Claim your authentic power. And this principle helps you to see that you are divine and that everything is divine. And as you claim your authentic power, you claim your own sense of yourself as a divine being as you live from your divine authentic self. You empower others. And as you begin to, you can begin to feel that joy. So when you feel like you're in your authentic power, you feel joy, because it's like, hang on a minute, I'm not giving my power away anymore. I'm claiming it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling so low and a lack of self-worth that I can't see my own power. You know, really, we're all born into the world in exactly the same way. You know, we all started off as little babies, and you see some people like soar high and other people down in the dumps, but it's really down to authentic power. It's about you claiming that you are divine. I am divine. So, you know, as you feel the joy and you begin that ascension journey, because the ascension is a byproduct of joy, you can't step into a higher vibration without it. So remember, there are two sides to yellow, joy and ego, but joy is more powerful than ego. So if you were looking at an astrological sign that aligns with the color yellow, it'd be Leo. Leo is the, you know, I am, look at me, you know, that when it's excessive, they become dominant and arrogant and over-empowering, like the lion. And when they are, you know, living negatively, they become passive and they have low self-esteem. So they're a classic example of that yellow. And, you know, if, as a number, yellow is the number one. Number one, male energy, the masculine. But it also relates to verbal communication. So let's have a look at the messages. So we've got Drina says lightness, joy, laughter, childlike aspect, optimism, fear, stress, too much focus on the mind, eating disorder, and feeling unhinged. Ray says joy, optimism, and stress as the negative. Drina, may I always say I am, and I am about power with not power over lols. Not sure what that means, but I'll go with it. Then we got Ree says laughter, optimism, and joy, negative, fear, and stress. Dina, positives, laughter and optimism, negatives, fear and stress. Can you see how much that one fluctuates? It does fluctuate quite a lot, that one, doesn't it? You know, where you can feel like some days you're the life and soul of the party, and the next day you're down in the dumps. Who feels like they're a yellow person? Does anyone feel like, yeah? Samantha, Dina, yeah. Ray, you feel like that? So, and Joe as well. So, you know, really, if you feel like you are connecting to yellow, it's that work that's coming in on, you know, that you can feel it in your solar plexus. It might, and actually, because the mind and gut has that connection, you know, you often, when you're overanalyzing things and you're living in your mind too much, that's when you fear things, because fear it projects you into the future about an event that may or may not happen. So fear is just false expectations appearing real. So that's the mind for you. So when you live in the mind, you're not in the present moment because you're always looking at what's next, when the key to it really is going back into the heart and just being present in the now moment. Drina says, I am, but it's not my favorite color. I work through solar plexus and throat chakras. Great. Good for you. That's really good. Lovely. And the same for you, Drina, Colette. Okay, fantastic. Brilliant. All right, so there's our yellow. That's our yellow principle, claim your authentic brand. Remember, all this is going to be included in your ebook as well. We're going to move now into green. So I want you to tell me what's going on for you in green. All right. And then, you know, you might change your minds as well about certain colors. You might be, after you've done this today, you might find a new appreciation for certain colors that you didn't have before we started. You might start observing, I really feel like I need to work on my green issues or my red issues. Because remember the chakras, how they, you know, they start from the base, which is the coccyx, and then they go right up to the crown, which is the top of the head. And of course, until your Kundalini is rising, so until you've worked on your red related issues, your Kundalini is going to be stuck and it's not going to be able to rise up through the chakras. And then you're not going to be able to activate your light body vehicle, which is your Merkaba star, you know, your star tetrahedron, which is like 2 3-sided pyramids, one spinning horizontally and the other one, one spinning anti-clockwise and one spinning clockwise. When you've activated your light body, you transcend survival issues. So your red survival issues are transcended when you activate your Merkaba. So your base chakra is actually changing from red into clear. It's clearing. And all of our chakras are becoming rainbows. So Ray, you do the right thing when you visualize a rainbow in each of your chakras through your body, because that's ultimately we're becoming that each chakra is becoming rainbow. But on its journey to becoming rainbow, each one is having its own transition. Like with green, the green heart is becoming pink and lilac. So it's the spiritualization of the heart center, moving beyond unconditional love, conditional love, like where we have jealousy and envy and resentment, and more into unconditional, where I love you. It doesn't matter what you do, I still love you. It's that sort of thing. And then bringing the lilac of spirit down into the heart. So the heart center green, you know, can bring up some of the old heart related emotions and feelings. So how does green make you feel when you look at this? What does this bring up for you? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to run away from it? Are there any of the bottles that you like? What do you feel in green? Green is the center of your emotional plane. As an astrological sign, green would be Libra. Libra is about balance and harmony. And in the zodiac, it's the 6th sign. There's 12 signs in the zodiac. So it sits right in the middle. Green in color therapy is about space, needing to get your own space. So if you've got a red related issue like anger, the antidote of green space is a really great antidote, because green will help you to get space away so that you can let the anger go. You can allow it to dissipate. Instead of fueling the red fire, the space will come in and it will wash through you and it will rebalance you. It'll help you bring back into balance. So that's green. The green should always be seen. So how did green make you feel? I'm going to spray some Green Angel around you as well. I want you to breathe in the fragrance of this one here. So this is Green Angel. Green Angel is there. There you go. Okay, so how do you feel about the Green Angel? Does that feel nice? Love is space, says Drina. Michelle says calm, purity and love. Cameron says mint, clove and calming and centering. Yep, it's definitely got some mint and some lime in there as well. Miranda says earth connection and loves nature and compassion. Yeah, it's all about nature. When we get space, we go into nature, we feel more balanced and peaceful. Okay, Joanne, you like all the bottles apart from the one with the black. Gina says, made me feel a little heavy with lightness of yellow. Think about how green is made as well. Green is a combination of yellow and blue. Yellow, which is confused, and blue, which is averse. So it draws towards. So, you know, you can see that through how the color is made, what the qualities of the color are and how they can make you feel. Brilliant. Okay, and Samantha says blissful. Okay, brilliant. Miranda, mint and basil as well. Beautiful. Okay, so that's lovely to see that. And then I'm going to share my screen again with you, and I want you to have a look at the positive and negative aspects of green. So physical aspects are asthma, heart and lung disease, and burnout and overwhelm. So if you're suffering from any of those, green is a great remedy. And the psychology of green is heart, space, boundaries, burnout, transformation in progress, and balance. And then the positive aspects: harmony, balance, direction, decision-making, choices, panoramic awareness, trust, enjoyment of change, space, giving, receiving, grace, flexibility, courteousness, and coming into your heart. And this is really one of the keys to personal development, is moving from the mind to the heart. It's not ignoring the mind, but it's not allowing the mind to make all of your decisions. And the negative aspect is, what will it heal? The inability to express anger, envy, jealousy. Oh, I'm green with envy. You know, you hear people saying that. Lack of boundaries, low energy levels, energy vampiring, overwhelm, burnout, craving space, chaotic, needing attention, and being disruptive. So that's all of the positive and negative. So what positive aspects could you bring into your life more often? And how can you commit to using those green gifts more often? And what do you need to heal or work on? Do you feel jealous? Do you feel envious? I know that when we were doing our Soul Nourish retreat, it was an interesting experiment because there was 9 women. Michelle, you were one of them. And actually, envy came up as a shadow pattern in olive green for quite a few of the participants. We did some art therapy. Now, we can never confuse art therapy and colour therapy because they are 2 different modalities. Art therapy is more about mindfulness and being in the present, whereas colour therapy is more about helping you to release subconscious patterns, emotional blockages, etc. But we can use the 2 together to be able to formulate really amazing ways of shining new awareness. Because a lot of the time we don't know what our shadows are because they sit in the subconscious. So colour can help us to illuminate those shadows and bring them to our attention, you see. So, you know, I think things like social media, Facebook, anything where we go into comparison, we can go into envy, where, you know, where we're bombarded by images of people looking really happy on the internet. And sometimes when we think, oh, they look really happy, and it's like they're doing this and they're doing that, and then you end up getting envious because it's like, well, I want to be doing that as well. But also, you know, we have to look at, you know, sort of what else is going on within that. So with olive green, for example, the complementary is magenta, and magenta is about, the shadow of magenta is the servant. So sometimes we might feel like we're not being of service and doing our soul work, but we're being more of a servant to everybody around us. So green is an interesting color, but a lot of the time we can feel burnt out. You see the burnout that comes up there, overgiving. Where do you need your own space so that you can rebalance yourself? Okay, so Kelly says choices and giving and receiving. Negative, low energies and craving space. Interesting. And Michelle says balance, harmony, trust, overwhelm and burnout, Michelle. So that's interesting. Yeah, from the conversations that we've been having, I think that, you know, it's really important to give yourself more space. You know, if you're just working all the time and you're not giving any time to yourself, and you just feel like you're just in the rat race, on that wheel, then you're going to burn yourself out. And then ultimately you're going to feel angry. Like when I had my midlife awakening, I was working for 14-hour days, you know, being on a train from Manchester to Perth, which was an hour there and back, and then all day long working and not stopping. And of course I started getting angry because I didn't have any space. Of course I was going to get angry. So, you know, you can't do that for yourself for too long. You've got to be able to sort of bring balance and harmony back in. So green is a really great color. And Miranda says jealousy, envy, and burnout. Okay. So these are the things to work on in green. Okay. So you'll notice that you predominantly have 1 or 2 colors that you need to work on more than others. Energy vampire, jealousy, burnout, overwhelm. Okay, so some, you know, I can see a few of you have got quite a few of the negative aspects in green. Well, you would, because the heart, you know, the human heart is it's the center of our emotional plane, it's the feeling plane. So sometimes it's the hardest to be able to understand, because a lot of the time we don't know how we feel. So we can react to emotional situations instead of responding to them. It's just the way it goes. So I'm going to go through the 4th spiritual principle in green. Okay, and the 4th spiritual principle in green is to love everybody, including yourself. So you might not feel like you want to love the garbo or the next door neighbor with the dog that barks through the night, or, you know, like your mum, whoever it is. It's usually the parents that get the most grief, but love is all there is. So it's been said that so many times, you know, what if you begin to really live your life in love? This principle is about loving yourself so that you can love others, and in turn allowing yourself to be loved as well. It asks you to value yourself and respect yourself and others. And even when you can't see the value in others, it's often because you can't see your own value. So when you truly value yourself, you're able to see the value in everyone. And you can also set clear boundaries and stop being envious or jealous of others. And when you believe that you are enough, your world will reflect that to you. So it's just about believing that you're enough and thinking about something amazing about yourself every single day. Think about what your superpowers are. What is it about you that's different to everybody else? What do you love about yourself that no one else has got? And always remembering that, because that eradicates jealousy and envy as well. So green will help you to do that. Green will give you the space to process those emotions. And it's about really respecting yourself. Okay, so setting clear boundaries so that you can kind of like detach yourself from those things. So just remembering to love yourself enough, because then your whole world changes. All right, so we've got that one there. Okay, so brilliant. So everybody's connected up to green and understood the spiritual principle in green. Does everyone like the principles? Is everyone connecting with the principles of each color? Yeah, because they are very simple, you know, but it's just a reminder. It's a bit like the Reiki principles, you know, the 5 Reiki principles, but this is like, there are 8 spiritual principles, but we're covering 7 of those off today. There's one in magenta as well. And magenta is quite a powerful color in color therapy. We touch on that quite significantly in level 2, and turquoise as well, because you get new age colors and you also have old earth colors. And so as we evolve, we move more towards certain colors. So blue, we're going to look at blue now. So I'm going to share my screen with blue. So tell me what happens for you in blue, and I'll spray some. I've got some blue angel with me today. All right, so how do you feel about blue? This is blue, and this is blue angel. All right, so just breathing in the blue angel. How does blue make you feel? Do you like it? Do you feel repelled by it? Does it make you feel any different to any of the other colors? How? In what way? Remember, these are very subtle feelings. They might not smack you across the face. They might just be very, very subtle changes that take place. Remember that when we look at the spectrum, you know, if we look at the wavelength and frequency of the colors, they only change slightly. If you look at the hertz of each of the colors, they just change slightly. So they're subtle energetic resonances that will move you in slightly different ways. Remember, the blue is connected to the throat chakra. So it's our verbal self-expression. So it works on the thyroid. Okay, how does that make you feel? Okay, so we looked at the blue. Okay, so Miranda says relaxing, calming, flowing ocean spearmint. Very good. Absolutely right with spearmint. But it's also got like, it's got a tone in the Blue Angel of, you know, when you go into a hospital and you smell that clinical clean smell, it's almost like germaline. It's got that scent that goes through that one as well. Ray says cold, smells like the ocean. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Well, actually the water element smells like the ocean. It's a very similar color to that one. Michelle says far third to the left. Joanne says strong depth and unsure. Okay. Ree says energized, smells like the wind. Had a gust of wind when you sprayed the bottle. There you go. So it's coming through for you. Cameron says calm, clarity, clean, refreshed, and truth. Yes, definitely. Clarity, clean, calm, and truth. Yeah, it's great that you got the word truth because there's a lot of trust that comes up in blue and turquoise. You know, it's very much a blue and turquoise color. Gisela says flow, sea breeze, wind, and very calm, invigorating and vibrant. And Colette thinks it's a very powerful color. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so that's really cool that you've all got so many different things from blue. We'll have a look at the other aspects now. Okay, so there's blue. So blue relates to the throat and the thyroid. Sometimes you've got a blue related issue. It could manifest as the jaw or the throat or the thyroid. For example, when I had my blue issue was when I was working in corporate. I wasn't speaking up about how I was feeling, and I ended up having my wisdom teeth taken out. All 4 of them were impacted, and they all came out at exactly the time that I was going through my midlife awakening. And of course, it was very, very painful. So I wouldn't recommend that for anybody, but it's because I wasn't speaking up. So it was almost like the teeth symbolized the stuckness of my conversations and not trusting myself that I thought that I could do anything different. So, you know, the psychology of blue, keywords is communication, teaching, channeling, listening, hearing, Mother Mary, masculine side. So it carries both male and female energy because Mother Mary is a very protective energy. It's also Archangel Michael, but trust, you know, that truth and trust, restoring peace. It can also make you feel second best as well. So often people who pick the blue bottles feel like they're not heard or that they're second best. Like they don't feel like somebody's top priority. So remember the ears, nose, mouth, they're all connected. So it can affect the ears and if you're listening as well. So positive aspects of blue are clear communication, peace, protection, angelic support, trust, authority, and security. And also orderly, analytical, dependable, inquiring, creative, artistic, and a good listener. And of course, it will carry the creativity because remember the orange sits as the understory. And orange is connected with fertility and creativity. And then the negative aspects are lack of communication, poor communication, lack of peace, stress levels too high, difficulties with the masculine, feeling second best, not being heard, inappropriate attempts to being heard, and nightmares in children and bedwetting. So often you find that, like if you work with kids, I don't particularly, but with a lot of the practitioners that I work with, they say that a lot of the very sensitive kids either choose blue or turquoise, and it helps them with their bedwetting. So that's great to acknowledge as well. So which aspects are your most positive blue aspects? How could you expand on those in your life? How can you commit to using them more often? And what about the negative aspects? What do you need to heal or what do you need to work on? Okay, are there any? There might not be any. For me, it would be probably more difficulty with the masculine, but I am working on that. Trying to work on that a bit more by going to the gym and doing more boy things. So, you know, what is it for you? Stress levels too high, maybe? What's happening for you? Excellent. Okay, so let's have a look, see what we're saying. So Kelly says, angelic support and security, feeling second best, and stress levels too high. Okay. Michelle, angelic, spiritual protection, trust, clear communication. Gisela, creative, artistic peace, stress levels and communication. Ari Shelley, not being heard. Okay. That's that can be a real October the 16th thing, Ari Shelley. Definitely, feeling like when you try and talk, no one's listening to you. I find that in groups. Sometimes, if I don't know what they're talking about, I'll just be like, oh, right, okay, well, I'll just, and if you try and say something, just like no one listens. Okay, so Cameron says creative, artistic, negative, lack of peace, inappropriate attempts to be heard. Okay, so you get that as well. It's interesting, isn't it? It's almost like what you feel sometimes, like when you're saying things that it's going over the top of people's heads, like they don't really understand how you're feeling. It's that sort of energy that can come up with that. And remember that blue is really an unevolved throat chakra, because as the throat chakra is evolving, it's becoming blue lilac. So it's actually bringing violet energy. So it's the spirit into the words. So it's like, I speak my spirit. So instead of the words just coming from thoughts or just random sort of feelings, it's kind of like, okay, it comes from a higher place. And Gina says, peace and dependable, not being heard, and stress levels too high. Okay, somebody drop out there? I don't know if somebody's dropped out, or I'll let them back in a minute. Okay, great. So there you go. So that's our blue energy. And your blue spiritual principle, your fifth spiritual principle, is everything is perfect. Now, I love this one because, sometimes when we go, oh, everything's wrong about our lives, things are not working for me, everything's going completely wrong. We end up attracting more of those things to ourselves. So we get more of what we focus on. So you've got to begin to see the perfection in everything, the good and the bad. So everything that's happened in the past was perfect, and everything that will happen to you in the future is also perfect. You don't need to control or even label it. Okay, so you don't need to fear the future. Your only responsibility is to claim its perfection. So because you attract what you judge, which remember is the first spiritual principle, while you still believe something is wrong or imperfect, you continue to attract that energy. When you cannot see the perfection, you stay in fear. And then you have to attempt to control everything to make it okay. So the moment you get that it was perfect, is perfect, and always has been perfect, you attract more perfection. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Like, I love this principle because, it's just about shifting your point of attraction, really, and recognizing that, nothing actually happens for you that isn't for your purposeful good. It's always perfect. It's always there to help you in some way, but you just have to allow it to be that instead of judging that it's not, because it sets you free and it brings you peace within your heart. So if you've loved and lost, or you've made loads of money and then you've lost it all, that was perfect, because there's a lesson in there that's actually from that situation or from that person. I think that we always have to remember that we can always learn something from the people in our lives, and that, remember, they've all signed a contract which says that whatever it takes, I will help you to heal. So that's everybody that's in your life, significant people within your life. Whatever it takes, my contract with you is that I will help you to heal. So that's why we can never judge anyone for anything. So everything is perfect. That's your fifth spiritual principle. And then we're going to move now into blue, well, it's indigo, or otherwise known as blue violet. Okay, so it's like a royal blue color. So this is like this relates to the third eye, this next one. Okay, so there it is. How do you feel about this one then? Okay, so I'm going to spray some royal. This is actually the black dragon that I've got. So it's the nearest one I've got to real rich royal blue. There is the indigo essence, but my indigo essence has changed color. It's gone almost blue. So I've obviously been stripping out some of the pigment from it. And that's what happens with energy remedies, that your body interacts with them, so they can change color when you're drawing from them. But this is the black dragon, so it almost looks indigo blue. And of course, royal blue is quite a dark color. It's one of the darkest colors that we've got. So just breathing in that and telling me how does that make you feel? How does royal blue indigo make you feel? This is the third eye. This is your pituitary gland. So in between your eyebrows, if you put your finger right in between your eyebrows, that's where your pituitary gland is, and it regulates the amount of light that you allow in. So, it's the seat of your spirituality, your clairvoyance, your sensitivity, your psychic abilities. It helps you to be able to perceive the unseen, look beyond the veil. It can be beneficial for headaches and nightmares. Do you like this color? Does it make sense for you? Do you feel scared by it, or do you feel enlightened by it? Remember, the complementary color to royal blue and indigo is gold, which is your value. Okay, so Joanne says, I connect with the life force around me. I love it, says Gina. Love all those bottles. Ari feels connection. Cameron, mysterious. That's a good word as well, because, this color is about the old, if it's like the old mystery schools. Okay, so it's kind of like the priest and the priestess, the Illuminati, it's kind of like the initiations ceremonies and things like that. But it will activate and open up your psychic channels. Colette says, I feel very tired and zenned out with it. Michelle, invigorating. Deep calm, power, strength, stability. Mystical, says Anna. Like midnight. Yeah, it is very mystical. It's the old school mystery schools. It's those initiations, think about like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, high priestesses and priests. Andrina says, I love these colors, especially the front three bottles. Deep seeker, seeking further wisdom. Yeah, it is. Well, actually, one of the front bottles is called the Wisdom Seeker. The Wisdom Keeper, and the Galactic Gateway. So these ones connect you up to cosmic consciousness as well. Can help you to reconnect your starry origins. Think about the indigo generation, the star beings that came onto the earth to be able to help raise the planet's vibration. Lorraine says, I feel very stuck and heavy and felt sick, maybe also because I haven't been well recently and still not well, especially in the area of the third eye. Possibly, yeah. It's interesting how your eye, has kind of manifested as like swollen as well, Lorraine, with the third eye. So yeah, it could be that there's some sort of blockage within that area, especially if it's making you feel sick. So yeah, so that would be interesting. So maybe working with some indigo or even gold, to help step back into your value and your authentic power and wisdom could help you with that. And then Michelle says, I'm an indigo. Absolutely. Well, you're all indigos. If you're here today, you are indigos, because your soul has heard the calling, because it's, it's recognized that it's worked with color before and it's wanting to relearn that wisdom. So a lot of the time it's the sensitive people, the starseeds, your Arcturians and your Pleiadians and Andromedans, Lyrans and Syrians are all attracted to color, because that's what that's what it's like where they've been and where they've come from. So, you know, to try and reconnect to the earth plane can be quite difficult because it's such a difficult density. It can be quite hard, and that's why a lot of the alpha generation indigos, they ended up killing themselves. They committed suicide because they couldn't cope with it. Okay, so there we go. So that's our indigo. So we're going to move into this one now. So I'll share the screen. Okay, so here's our indigo. So have a look at indigo. What's going on for you in indigo? So it's the ears, the nose, the sinuses, the throat, and the pineal gland. Okay, but it also is the pituitary. The psychology of royal blue and indigo, keywords: intuition, mysticism, authority. Think of the boys in blue, you know, like the police. Masculine power, indigo children, overwhelm, and initiation. Those initiations that you go through to help you move on to the next level. Positive aspects: intuitive, mystical, psychic, clairvoyant, clairsentient, brilliant, sensitive, perceptive, honest, authoritative, knowledgeable, and deep. So they're the positive aspects. How psychic are you? Are you able to tune into other people? Are you empathic? Can you see the future? Can you, you know, how open is your psychic gateway? Then the negative aspects: trouble with authority, shock at being on the planet, a desire to remain hidden, addictions, manipulative behavior, and feelings of isolation as well. That can really bring in that sense of separation. It's quite dark, you know, so it feels quite hidden. And addictions as well, you know, it's that dark stuff, addictive to certain things, manipulation. It's interesting, in the colour mirrors system, we've got in the Australian bushflowers, there's a flower called the rough bluebell, which is indigo in colour, and it's given to people who are very manipulative, or if you notice that you've got manipulative tendencies, and it helps to eradicate those. So how did you feel about that? So we got, Ree says intuitive, psychic, clairsensitive, honest, negative, addiction and feeling isolated. Okay. Authoritative and intuitive, says Cameron, and negative, manipulative behavior. It's great that you're able to recognize and point out your negatives there, you know, because I think we've got to give ourselves an honest appraisal if we have any hope of wanting to be able to change and evolve. So sometimes we have to look at, you know, where we are still holding on to, you know, some stuff that, you know, is no longer serving you. All the positives at various times and desires to remain hidden. Okay. And Gina says, I'm feeling really connected to this color. Yep, intuitive, perceptive, honest, and feeling isolated. Kelly says intuitive, mystical, psychic, sensitive, but desire to remain hidden, addictions and fear. So there's quite a few of you having these addictions and desire to remain hidden. And actually, I feel like there is, like, especially if you work as a, you know, in wellness or with a psychic business or a, you know, where you know, if you've got this desire to remain hidden, it's very difficult for you to get your business off the ground. So it's almost like you have to overcome that, you know, to be able to kind of reconnect and you know, so that's an aspect that would be very, very beneficial. Okay, because you can't remain hidden and, you know, sort of put yourself out there and get your message out into the world. So remember that the complementary is gold, which is your authentic power. So when you step beyond fear and you move more into your authentic power, so move from ego to authentic power, you kind of don't care anymore about all of that stuff, and you don't need to remain hidden anymore, because it's like it's not about you, it's about the message that you're delivering. Okay, so the principle, the spiritual principle in indigo is the sixth spiritual principle is hold a clear vision of perfection. So the fifth spiritual principle is everything is perfect. This one takes it one step further, and it asks you to hold a very, very clear vision of perfection. So to reach this point on your journey, you've had to go through many initiations. Remember, the initiations come up in indigo. Every experience you had was to qualify you for your real purpose, to hold the vision of the golden age. And really, that's kind of why we're all here. We might have all kind of forgotten it a little bit, but we've got to bring in the golden age, which is the raising of the vibration on the planet. And so we've got to see it. If you think about how the planet was formulated in the beginning, it was the ancient ones, the wise ones, the keepers. They were seers. So they saw the planet into creation. And that's what our goal is, really, is to see the golden age before it comes in. So you're asked to remember that those who led you into the many initiations often appeared as the ones who betrayed you. But the truth is that your greatest betrayals you had to live through were also the greatest initiations into your true power as a holder of the light. So the principle is about keeping your vision so clear that all you can see is the perfection that unfolds. So keep your vision clear. See it into being. And know that all the hard stuff that you're going through is just perfect. And no one actually ever betrayed you. It was all just part of the plan. Ari says, addictive, negative, manipulative behaviors and shock at being on the planet. Shock at being here. Exactly. We're a lot luckier if if you live in a nice country, but like I'm from Middlesbrough in the northeast originally, and it was a big shock being there, believe me. You never want to go to Middlesbrough. Okay, so we'll move on to the final colour of today. So we're on schedule for finishing at past as well, which is good news. We're moving into violet now. Okay, so we're moving into violet. So we're at the top of the crown now, violet energy. How do you feel about violet? So violet is your connection to spirit. Violet also carries a lot of grief. So it's old school spirituality, like Catholicism, the Catholic Church, that sort of belief that about religion instead of spirituality. It's kind of loaded with all of that. The mind, mental sort of issues that can come up with violet and lilac. Lilac, again, is more infused than violet. So I know violet looks deeper and darker, but actually lilac is much more powerful. But lilac's got that sense of being in the angelic realms, being connected to spirit. If you're attracted to lilac and pale pink together, or lilac and pink, it can often mean sadness because of the loss of a mother. But it's the spiritualization of the heart. There's a lot of going through the dark night of the soul and heart to come out stronger that comes up in violet. So releasing of the grief. It's like transformations through going through the dark night. It's like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, death and regeneration. But also offers your limitless potential as well. So how does it make you feel? Do you like violet? Do you hate it? Okay, so there's our violet. So Cameron says sadness, contemplation, space, grief, phoenix moment, and hidden potential. Excellent. And then Miranda, playful, reassuring, whole, angelic, and connected. Ari Shelley, excited, soul deep, for we are only ever departed physically, but spiritually we're always together. I love violet. Great. That was words of wisdom there, Ari. Excitement, soul deep, for we are only ever departed physically. I think I just read that. It feels strong and supportive, connective and deep, says Colette. Indeed it does. Miranda, playful, reassuring, whole, angelic, and connecting. And Lorraine likes the middle bottle. Okay, so that's the transformation Pluto. That's about going through the dark night of the soul and heart to come out stronger. Lorraine. Ree says, strong in my power, grounded and connection. So again, we've got like bit of a mixed reaction to that. Bringing Gisela. There you go. Hi, Gisela. Sorry, I didn't know how long were you out for?
About 20 minutes. Everything just froze and.
Oh, did it? Oh, I've just noticed that you were out. Oh well, don't worry, it's recorded, so you only missed a little bit. We're on Violet at the moment. Okay. So I'll just share that again for the benefit. There you go. That's just for the benefit of you, Gisela. Just connect up to Violet and just see how that makes you feel. And, you know, nothing happens by coincidence, you know, in colour therapy. We always have to observe what happens. And often the Violet is connected to sadness. You know, it's this grief and stuff like that that can come up in Violet. So you have to observe, how do you feel within that colour? Okay, so just observe that. We're just going through the meanings of Violet now. So Violet... Violet is, you know, it's connected to the head. It's connected to your connection. You know, this is why you can feel isolated sometimes as well within this color. All right, and I'm going to share the screen with Violet for you. There you go. So Violet is headaches and mental issues and sleep. Keywords are spirit, service to humanity, grief, compassion, balancing, magic and ritual, depression, divine perspective, spiritual arrogance as well. You know, you think about that type of thing, you know, it's like go to confession and all of that. You're guilty of this and guilty of that. Not in touch with reality and material struggle as well. So positive aspects of Violet are service, spirituality, able to feel and to express grief, being patient, stable, support, humility, and sincerity. And negative aspects are feeling weighed down by grief, inability to grieve, spiritual arrogance, deep depression. So there's a lot of really deep depression that can come up in Violet. So you often notice, you know, there's people that dye their hair purple. A lot of the time it's that they're grieving. They're using that to help them grieve. Or it could be mental conditions as well that can come up. Need to control, wanting perfection, need to rescue others, dogmatism, desire for revenge, mental illness, and suicidal tendencies as well. So, you know, if you're really big into Violet, you know, in the negative aspects, then, you know, working with that can really help. And so can yellow, the complementary colour, because yellow will help you feel the joy a bit more and work on the fear. So I want to show you a flower essence now. So if I stop the share, this one here is the Sturt Desert Pea. Now it's very like deep violet and with red. And this one's for grief, for overcoming loss and sadness and grief. So it looks, in the doctrine of signatures, it looks like a little man. It's going, help, help, I can't survive. And it's got a big tear duct, a big grief tear duct in it, in violet. So that's why we, you know, for anyone who's lost somebody, we work with Sturt Desert Pea, or you know, helps to overcome grief and to shed the tears and to release it, so that you can kind of go back into sort of the land of the living. So yeah, so that's our our beautiful violet energy. Now we look at, I wanted to just spray some violet energy around you. So I've got this one here, which is beautiful. It's called, it's one of the violet flame bottles. And this one's got silver sparkles in it. And it's violet, and it connects you up with ancient Lemuria, which is the inner earth, fifth dimensional civilization that's inside a city called Telos and Mount Shasta, under Mount Shasta. So this is a really great one for helping you to connect up with that energy of the spirit. The violet flame brings in Archangel Zadkiel as well. Okay, so I'm just going to share this with you. Okay, so we've got that. So the seventh spiritual principle is you are God in a body. So you never left home in the first place. So there was never any separation. Everything is as it should be, just as it always was, and it always will be. There is nothing to grieve for, because nothing was ever lost. There is nothing to judge because everything is perfect. So in violet, you may believe that you've lost someone or something. You might find yourself stuck in grief and become depressed. When you know that you can never be separate from all that is, you can claim your spiritual light and power. And this principle says that you are God in a body and therefore create everything in your reality exactly as it needs to be for your experience at any given time. So claim your power of being a divine light and set yourself free from the heavy burdens that you've been carrying. You are God in a body. Remember, you've never been separate. You've never been separate. So grief only comes in when we feel isolated and separate. But actually, when we close our eyes and we go in, we reconnect, and we can trust our own inner guidance, and we know that we've never been separate from anyone or anything. So remember, it's a collective. There's just different levels and different vibrations of frequency, different dimensions of reality. That's life. This thing we signed up for. So let's have a look and see what we're saying. Feels like stardust, says Anna Delusa. Feels like floral moonlight. That's a beautiful expression. Absolutely. It is like floral moonlight. Reese, I didn't smell it. I tasted it and it tasted like flowers. Absolutely, Ree. I'm tasting them as I'm spraying them, actually. And they do. That one definitely tastes like flowers. Drawn to lilac and pink, wanting perfection. Felon, express grief. Karen, positive spirituality, feel, express grief, support. Humanity, negative, spiritual arrogance, isolated, need to control, wanting perfection, and dogmatism. Okay, so there's a fair few for you to work on there, Cameron. Colette says it feels strong and supportive, deep, connected, deep. What's the second bottle at the back? Let's have a look. What is the second bottle along the back? That is, that's the lilac pearl of wisdom, Colette, the lilac pearl of wisdom. So that's very, very gentle lilac energy, helps you to release grief and reconnect to spirit, but it carries a even deeper meaning around violet. So yeah, so it's a beautiful one if you're feeling isolated. That was the last one in violet. Okay, cool. All right, so hopefully that's made sense for you all. Next step, obviously, is if you want to continue your learnings about colour therapy, then I have got a level 2 coming up on the 7th of February via Zoom as well. So that's on special at the moment for only 79 Australian dollars on early bird until the end of November. So, if today or tomorrow that you want to jump on board and get that, then you'll get it for that. It'll go up to 99 after then. But if you're keen on colour therapy, you liked what you learned today and you want to learn more, you're feeling that calling, because colour therapy is a soul calling, so it's not for everybody. But if you just thought, oh, I really like this and I can just imagine doing more of it, then that would be a great next step. If you feel like you don't need to do that and you just want to go, right, okay, I want to take the bull by the horns and become a colour mirrors practitioner, then just message me afterwards. I can send you the details about that. That's a 24-week online self-paced course, which is amazing, probably the best thing I've ever done. But you go through a massive transformation as you go through all of the colours, because there's 19 different colours that you go through, and you're using them in an experiential way as well. So you're bathing as you're learning and really connecting up that way. So it's through video tutorials and actually Zoom sessions one-on-one with me. Yeah, so other than that, it's just thank you very much for attending. I'm just going to unmute you guys now, just so if you've got anything you want to say, just bear with me. There you go. If anyone wants to contribute or say anything, or yeah, anybody? Joe?
24-week course sounds fantastic. Are you able to disclose fees at the moment, or is that a one-on-one conversation?
Yeah, no, I can, like, there's no hiding it. It's actually, it is a little bit of investment, obviously, in your time and financially, but it's only $997 for the actual training with me. And so that, when you break that down into all the sessions that you get, it's hardly anything. But then there is an investment in a set of the bottles as well. You get 26 mini set of Colour Mirrors bottles as well.
Yeah.
So I'd order those from South Africa. Once you've got the bottles, you can start your learning. And that's $1,697 for your bottles. So it's $2,697 for the whole thing. But then once you're trained, you're a practitioner.
No.
Anyone else?
So what was the price for the bottles?
The bottles are $1,697, and that's for your starter kit of 26 Colour Mirrors bottles, and that's 20 different dual coloured oil bottles like these ones. But then also you get 6 different essence sprays as well. And the reason why you get 26 is because it carries all of the colours that you need to be able to integrate the wisdom and anchor the wisdom through the course. Yeah. So
so we actually have to have the bottle before we can.
Yes, Kelly. Yeah. So you have to connect up to the energy of the remedies, because it's one of the keys to becoming a practitioner. You've got to be able to feel the energies and also go through your own transformational journey with them, so that you can understand them. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Any other questions? Any more?
I had a few questions on some of the colour mirrors, so I might just send them to you. I'll have to rerun. But in the green front right, can you tell me what the colour mirror number was?
The green.
Yes, in front right. There was a few of them I'll have to go through.
Okay. What I can do is, because I'm going to be sending you the information that we've gone through, all the visuals, all the screenshots and stuff like that. So it probably is easier if you were to send me the questions with regards to those.
Yeah, sure.
And then I can give you the information on them. Yeah. It's probably a bit easier.
And thanks.
Any more?
Yes, I had a question. As far as just overviewing the positive aspects, because I noticed, like for red, there were 2 that seemed of the same. I'm trying to remember exactly the word, but can you refresh us on if you identified this positive aspect, this is what you identify with, but then there's also things on the negative that those are your triggers, or can you explain again what the positive and the negative,
how they work? Okay, so your positive, they're almost like your gifts within that color. So for example, if it was red and it was vitality and energy, that's like, you have to just ask yourself, how can I use those qualities in my life more often? So you don't need to work on those necessarily because they're already positive red gifts. But if, for example, you've got safety and security issues, or you've got separation anxiety issues that come up, then red can be a very, very beautiful support to those. So working with red energy, whether it's through, like a piece of red jasper, or bathing in a like the C1 Colour Mirrors bottle red, or using a red angel, or even using like an organite, like that, just getting yourself a lovely organite, then they can be really beneficial just to have on your bedside table, just to support you. And you can hold them, bringing in eating red food, red colors, putting red oils on your body. So it's almost like, it gives you a clue as to maybe what you need to work on. So your negative aspects, you would use the colors and harness those colors. But by far the best way I've found of releasing the cellular patterns are by bathing in the remedies, you see, and using the essence sprays, because they work on a very deep sort of cellular level, and they clear away the pattern or the belief that's been stored within the cell and the lie, and they replace it with the truth. Okay, because that's all trauma is. It's just like a lie that's been stored in the cell wrong. It's a misinterpretation of the original event. And the colors are kind of based around Dr. Mazuro Emoto's experiments with color. So, for example, these are infused with loving intention, divine love. So it changes the crystalline frequency of the molecules within the remedies. So it's that's changing the resonance within the human body. So, there's proof that if we send hatred into liquids, the crystals go all clumpy and square and horrible. And when we shine divinity into liquids, they become like snowflakes. So that's so that's how we would use the bottles to help that. But you know, it's the same in any color. If you've got negative aspects of the color, just note that this is a color that you can work with to be able to overcome those things. And you don't need to logicalize it. You don't need to try and work out how it works, because we have to bypass the cognitive mind, and we just have to allow the soul to help the body feel safe whilst it takes us where it wants us to go. So that's where the magic, like the alchemy, comes in. It's not within the realm of thought. It's just a gentle unfolding and an unlayering, and you just like, you don't even know it's happening a lot of the time. That's why we kind of encourage really writing down or journaling what's going on for you when you use color remedies, because it can just trigger emotional responses. You could have a release of tears when you're using color remedies, or you could have a release of physical pain, so it's just the different types of response is so vast. Everyone has different experiences, really. Did that answer your question?
That did, and that leads into my second and final question. Is, I know you work with people all over the world. Have you found that colors have it's a culturally universal thing, or do you find that certain cultures respond differently to different colors, or do you and how is that linked to the subconscious mind as a universal force?
That's a really interesting question as well. Now, again, it's a universal language, so it's not a cultural thing. So we all understand language. It's like numbers. We all understand them exactly the same way. So colors can't be misinterpreted, and neither can numbers. So it's a reliable guide. So color theory is color theory. It doesn't change, doesn't matter what, because we're all basically light. That's all of us are. And we are, we all are different frequencies of light depending on what we're experiencing. So we're aspects of source.
Beautiful, thank you.
Okay, that's a good question though. It's a really good question, and it's actually something that I didn't cover off today that I said I was going to, and that's the past life implications of those 7 colors. So I'll send you that through within the ebook, but it's interesting when you look at it, because if there are deep resonances with certain colors that you've got, it could be that, for example, if you've got red related issues, that you were a soldier, a Roman soldier at the time of Jesus Christ, or that you had past life experiences as prince or pauper or Chinese. Whereas if you've got a real deep resonance with the color yellow, then it could be ancient Egyptian, because it's the sun gods stuff that comes through. So each of the colors kind of carries an ancestral lineage of experience, soul experience, that can, so it doesn't just clear what's going on for you in this reality, it transcends dimensions and works across all time space reality. So it's a great way of giving yourself a soul cleanse or a cosmic detox. Has anyone else got any questions? I know it all sounds quite phantasmagorical, but you see, the truth of it is in that this has been around since ancient times. So the wisdom of color therapy, obviously, it dates back, predates Atlantis. It probably goes right back to Lemuria, or but it came in through from the Pleiades and Sirius, and the people who seeded life on this planet. So it's part of our 12-strand DNA wisdom, and all we're doing is reintroducing it into modern day society now, because we've lost faith in pharmaceuticals. Anyone else got any questions, or are we all good?
All good.
Excellent, brilliant. All right, well, look, lots of luck. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, and what I'll do is over the next 24 hours, I'll get the information through to you via email. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye for now.
Thank you, and send through the session too.
I will.
Thank you, Hayden.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Let me meet you all.
Nice to meet you.